Ril Tok, bilo kad i s kim god. Ril Tok, ukradu novi Ril Tok, svaki tjedan novi gost, puno cuge, prava priča i tražit ćete još Ril Tok.
I dragi naši, dobrodošli u novi Ril Tok podcast, točnije 138. po redu. Sa vama u kući kao i uvijek Kani Doktor Oga.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of your favorite podcast, Ril Tok Podcast. What's up, my brother?
I understand that perfectly.
Koliko ti je trebalo da naučiš?
Whole day.
Dragi naši, kao što ste mogli primijetiti uvodom našeg dragog doktora, današnja epizoda bit će još jedna barijera koju smo srušili u svojem podcastu do sad. Naime, cijelu epizodu ćemo morat na engleskom izvesti i doživjeti i vi s nama radi našeg specijalnog gosta koji je danas. O kome se radi, uskoro ćemo vas predstaviti.
Sorry, brother, I ask you something. What's up, my brother?
Nothing is up, everything is down, my brother.
Okay.
Nothing works.
Okay.
Can I go now?
Yes, you can.
Thank you, my brother. Your English is amazing. Da se zahvalimo našim sponzorima kao i uvijek Kobalt vodka, Nimko Brands, premium vodka i alkoholna pića, Žestoka, Zmajska pivovara, prva i najbolja kraft pivovara u Hrvatskoj. Iskoristite na njihovom sajtu kod Ril Tok i ostvarite popust na kupnju. Monster Energy, Volt također iskoristite na njihovoj aplikaciji kodove Ril Tok 10 i Ril Tok i ostvarite po 5 eura popusta na prve dvije narudžbe. Kojkan koji nas hrani kao i uvijek, Legacy pelin, premium craft pelin po originalnom receptu Franja Pokornog, vjerujte, top proizvod. Properstav Head Shop za sve ljubitelje CBD, HHC proizvoda, te Pešava Barber Shop u Koledinečkoj 1A koji se brine za naše brade i frizure. Sve spomenuto imate dole u opisu videa linkove, pa naručite, komentirajte, konzumirajte i recenzirajte. Brate, si dobar, jesi spreman? Jel mogu ja najaviti našeg gosta? Amazing. Kao što sam rekao, imate još otprilike pola minute dok pričam na hrvatskom, onda se šaltamo na jezik našeg gosta. Sa nama je trenutno, pa ja bi se usudio reći, možda najveća trenutno TikTok senzacija i općenito content creator senzacija na Balkanu, usudio bi se reći, čovjek koji je ostavio sve u Americi i došao u našu prekrasnu regiju istražiti ju. Da ne duljim previše, on će sam reći, dame i gospode, JUSTUS REID s nama u kući.
Thank you.
Hey, we need to get fisting.
The fist.
Yeah. No fisting.
No fisting. That's not quite right.
That's not quite right.
You know, every once in a while I'm with people who speak really good English, but they always slip up with something like that. I was with a buddy of mine, a Serbian guy.
Okay.
We're in the car, and he goes, "Maybe we should do a drive-by at McDonald's." And I go, no, not a drive-by. Go through the drive-through.
Yeah.
A drive-by is completely different.
Hey, welcome to Balkans.
Yeah.
That's all I can
There's
say.
always those little things.
I mean, it's funnier like that, you know?
It is.
Yeah.
It keeps life interesting.
Absolutely. First thing I want to say, thank you for coming.
And thank you for having me.
No, of course. Thank you for, my English, I gotta get in the mode. I actually reached out. You reacted pretty quickly. Thank you for that. Thank you for coming. I think we got a lot of stories to tell, a lot of stories to talk about. I think your life has been nothing short but amazing. This couple of, what's it been, like a year and a half, 2?
Year and a half.
Year and a half.
Yeah.
So before we get into all the details and stuff like that, I just want to ask, how have you been doing? How are you? How's life going? Everything.
I am exhausted.
That's good though, right?
I'm working. There's so many projects going on, so many, as we say, irons in the fire. It's a lot of stress, but it's a good kind of stress because ultimately I asked for it. You know, I run my own business. The worst thing is when you're in a stressful position, but you're caught doing things that you didn't want to do, or you didn't ask for, and so it leaves you feeling kind of trapped, you know? So it's like all of my problems are good problems. But that doesn't make it any less stressful. Holy smokes.
No, of course, but it's like just like you say, you asked for it.
Yeah,
Pretty
I
much,
asked for it.
Yeah.
And you know, and if I wasn't super stressed right now, and if I wasn't sort of having all of this going on, I would feel much worse.
Yeah, of course.
Because
I mean,
then I would be doing nothing.
yeah, no work.
Yeah, no work, and that's not a good feeling.
This way, you know that it's going good. That
Yeah.
something's happening, right?
Yeah, that's but you know that's part of my American mentality. Not all Americans are the same, but you know, a lot of Americans will tell you that, you know, family and community is more important than work, but they're liars.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
That's like a big cliche with American TV and movies, right? Is you have a dad who's not part of his family's life because he's working all the time. He's too busy, right? And that is a very normal thing in the United States. We work very hard, very often. You know what? The mandatory amount of paid vacation time is in the United States per worker.
Well,
So how much is it here in Croatia?
I think like 2 or 3 weeks.
2 or 3 weeks,
Yeah.
mandatory. No matter whatever your job is, you get 2 or 3 weeks paid vacation.
Yeah, is it?
By law.
Right? 3 tjedna godišnje. Ili
Yeah,
2.
about yes. 3 weeks. 3 weeks.
You understand?
is 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Summer holidays and,
Summer holidays.
and
And-
1 week winter holidays.
And that varies by country, right? But in the United States, it's zero.
Really?
Days. None. There are no mandatory paid vacation days. Through most of my sort of working career and life in the United States, I never got a single day of paid vacation, ever.
How old are you?
24.
Oh.
But, you know, I got my first job when I was 14 years old with tax papers and everything. It's legal to work at 14. And I got my first car at 14, my driver's license.
14, not 16.
Yeah, 14.
How come?
In my state of South Dakota, it's the lowest age that you can drive a car
Goddamn,
legally
14.
In the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, 14 years old. But you know, South Dakota is a very, I don't know, almost you would call it libertarian view on things. It's kind of the ideology that we don't like the government at all, even in our own state. And so if you are in a position of in politics in South Dakota, where I'm from, you're probably running on a platform of saying, I'm going to do absolutely nothing. And people are like, yeah, like that's what we want. We don't want you to do anything. And so basically it's kind of like they don't want cars to need license plates. If it was allowed, if it was possible for the state to run without license plates or without driver's license, they would do it. We'd be the first state to be like, yep, cut that off.
Yeah.
You don't have to register cars, you don't have to register drivers, nothing, because it is your right to own a motor vehicle and to drive it whenever you please. So in South Dakota, instead, it is, there are no taxes on registering motor vehicles, and so basically, no matter what car I buy, I pay $40 for license plates and that's it. There's no inspections on cars at all to register them. And to get your driver's license, you don't technically need to have any time behind the wheel beforehand. Damn. You go into a place, the testing facility, you pay $20, you go out with the instructor, it's 2 left turns and 2 right turns. Here's your license. That's it. And so, and it's like laws for guns. There are no background checks, nothing. You can open carry a handgun in a holster without a permit.
Yeah. Same like in Nevada, though.
Yeah. It depends on the state you're in. But so South Dakota, when it comes to cars, when it comes to guns, when it comes to property, when it comes to basically everything is extremely, extremely relaxed. So because of this, I am 24 years old, but I have 10 years of driving experience and 10 years of work experience.
It's crazy.
And I shot my first gun at 6 years old, you know, somewhere in the woods.
Because why not?
Yeah.
So you pretty much been through it all already, like.
Yeah, well, and so that gives me sort of, people see it as, I think I read somewhere that like in Croatia, like people end up, the average person moves out of their parents' home and gets their own place at 31 years old.
I mean, that's some kind, I think, about around this time now, but it's been better before. But
Yeah.
nowadays it's like something like that. Yeah, 30s or something.
Yeah, it was crazy, right?
It's
to
the
me,
standard, though.
right?
No,
And
it's
my parents kicked me out when I was 18. You know,
Yeah.
So I've been. I joined the army at 19 years old. I served,
I read that.
Yeah, served as an enlisted soldier for 4 years. You know, so it's like at 24, I've lived quite a lot of life and done quite a lot of things. You know, I've got lots of skills, especially, you know, that first car I bought at age 14. I ended up having to save up money from I mowed lawns around the neighborhood. I cut people's grass for $10 a yard or $20 a yard, depending on the size. I saved up the whole summer and I bought a car for $300 and it was a piece of trash. And so I am a mechanic now at 24 because that car sucked. It was always breaking down.
So you had to work on it.
Well, and so that's something people ask me a lot because I'm really into cars. I'm always working on them. Actually, I was planning on working on my car today. I'm in, these are work clothes. I showed up in my work clothes, if you're wondering. But people go, well, what made you want to become a mechanic? Or what made you want to learn? I was like,
the need.
I had to get to work the next day, and my car was broken, and I needed to fix it. And that's it, you know?
Well, thank God we live in a YouTube era, so you can pretty much learn anything.
Well, you know, I had somebody, I had a fan come up to me just the other day on the street. They didn't ask for a picture or anything. They just shook my hand and said, hey, I'm kind of in a hurry, but I really want to know if there's any advice you could give to a young person like me, what would it be? And I thought that was interesting because it was very sincere, you know? Like I said, he didn't want a picture, nothing. He just asked. And I said that if you're really passionate about something or you need to get something done, you got to do research. And the internet is a great tool for that. I'm not the smartest guy. I'm not the most capable guy, but I know how to research. I'm really good at it. And so the internet has the answers to basically every problem or every issue you could imagine. And so people are asking me things like, well, how do I be popular on TikTok, or how do I be an influencer, or how do I fix my car, or whatever? And it's like, I learned all that stuff from the internet, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I don't have a formal education in anything. I didn't even go to high school.
Oh, really?
I was homeschooled my entire life. So my mother was my teacher. I graduated from my living room at age 17. We got a diploma in the mail.
Damn.
So once again, South Dakota, right? Here in a place like Croatia, your kids have to go to school.
Yeah.
And they have to go to some kind of accredited school. In South Dakota, that's just not the case. If you don't want your kids to go to school, fine. If you want to school them yourselves, fine. You know, whatever you'd like to do.
And that's actually legal.
Yes, of course. Yeah, and a homeschool diploma, mine says REID Academy on it. REID Homeschool Academy is my diploma. That is accepted, just as any other high school diploma would be in my state.
I didn't know that one.
Yeah, so there's but that's the thing, it's just about rights, right? So I think there's a misconception with a lot of Americans who misinform foreigners, and they talk about how America has freedom, right? We have freedom, but it's like, okay, Croatia has freedom. There's freedom here in Croatia. I really believe that. But the key to America is liberty, which is a special type of freedom, which is freedom from government tyranny. So the government wants to oppress you by pushing their laws and their rules on you, telling you how to live, what to eat, where to go, what to do. And the United States is founded on a principle that is wrong and that the government should stay out of the normal person's life. And so the promise in South Dakota is that you have basically the only thing the government will give you is the ability to succeed or the ability to fail.
Yeah.
And if you're going to fail, you're alone. You're toast, right? Good luck getting any money from the government. Good luck getting anybody to bail you out. I don't know, go to a church and ask for some help, you know? And so but as an ambitious person, right, who comes from a very normal family with a very normal life and a very normal background, using the power of research and the internet, I somehow have been able to make something of myself. And that stems from this sort of system that I grew up in and I benefited from.
Do you think like when the fan asked you about, I don't know, like you said, how to become popular on TikTok and stuff like that, you said do a lot of research and stuff like that, but how much do you think that it kind of depends on the person, you know, on the character, what do you want to show, what do you want to represent and stuff like that. It's not for everybody. Yeah, and it's not like certain set of rules that works for everybody. It's like
there's a lot of people who want it. I think most young people want it, right? It seems like a pretty glamorous, like a really great job.
To be honest, a little bit too much people want it. Too many people want it.
Well, I agree. I think it actually keeps, it maybe isn't great for society that everybody wants to sort of be an influencer or whatever. Definitely. But the truth is most people don't have what it takes. But they don't put in the work. I think anybody who puts in the work, regardless of their personality, will find some form of success on social media.
Yeah, but also the thing is, like, if you want to reach some kind of level, like let's say the kind level that you're at right now.
Yeah.
The first thing you said when we started the podcast is that you're exhausted.
I am exhausted.
Yeah,
that's true.
Because of a lot of work that you have, and thank God that you do. But like, it's not just that easy as people think.
I think everybody's exhausted though, doing whatever job you have. You got to work somewhere. You got to do something. Yeah, but you know, like
especially in Croatia, the public opinion is that influencers or content creators, whatever you want to call it, is not a job. So that's what I'm trying to say. Like,
I mean, the truth is,
when you reach some kind of level, it's.
I know this influencer sort of market inside and out here in Croatia, and I'd bet there's 30 people who are influencers full-time who make a living doing just that.
Yeah.
You'll find that most people who are influencers full-time have rich parents or a rich husband or wife or girlfriend or boyfriend or mother-in-law or something who subsidizes their lifestyle. And so if you start with money, it's really easy to make a living being an influencer. But if you're talking about somebody who is normal, who comes from nothing, who somehow manages to make a living just making videos, just being an influencer. And at this point, it's videos. You know, you used to be able to do it with a blog or something. Writing, but not really anymore. But if you make a living making videos and you don't come from money, man, those people are probably, you can count on one hand. Here, you know, the market just isn't really big enough. I'm very lucky to be in the position where I can say I am one of those people, but aspiring to make a living just on making videos, that's really difficult. But the social media marketing landscape, I would say, is huge here in Croatia for if you want to pursue a career in something like social media management for a company.
Okay. Yeah.
And that's where I started, right? When I was with the Army, I ran all of their social media pages.
Oh, that's
where I gained my skills.
Oh, nice.
Nice. And I kind of pioneered their social media there. They weren't really doing it very much. And so the story there goes was I was in human resources. I was doing a boring paperwork job there for 2 years. And then my contract was ending and I was like, I'm leaving. I'm moving to the Balkans because I'm famous over there and I'm going to make videos and I'm going to try to do it. And they're like, are you going to make any money? Are you going to whatever? And I'm like, we'll see. I'll figure it out. And they were like, please don't go. You can have any job you want. And I was like, there is not a single job in this organization you could offer me that would make me stay.
Well, why was it? What was it that you hated so much that you wanted?
The Army is very...
First of all, I'm sorry for interrupting you. How did you end up in the Army? Why did you go to the Army? Why did you sign up?
That's a story in itself. And I actually eventually ended up kind of stopped telling people about this when I joined, because a lot of people join the Army because they're in really bad situations.
Yeah.
And they want to, it's because of patriotism or because of trying to escape a home situation, right? Things are bad and you're just looking to get out of wherever you are. Send me to Afghanistan and I'm never going back to wherever I'm from. But in my case, I just kind of felt empty, purposeless at 19. I had moved out when I was 18. I lived on my own for a year. And I got a job as an insurance agent. I was pretty good at it. I made good money. I bought the car I always wanted, and I had a nice apartment.
The one you didn't have to fix every day.
No, yeah, I bought a nice Dodge Charger. It was it was a former police car, and so
a real American.
I had some lights on it. I'd pull people over sometimes. If they were going too slow or whatever. but they would go, that's the thing. You think, oh, I'm in a police car, whatever. But it's like people go so slow because they think you're a cop. And so they go way under the speed limit. And then you just, you flip the lights on and then they pull over. But, so I had all that and I just didn't know what to do next. It was like, oh, well, I could buy a better car, but I have the car I want. I could buy a bigger apartment, but my apartment is fine. I could get a different job, but this job pays well, and so I just didn't know what to do. So I kind of decided that I had grown up too fast, and I wanted to change. And so I joined the Army to sort of shake things up in my life, and I went to training, to combat training and advanced individual training for 8 months. So, crawling through the mud and getting shot at and,
the good stuff.
Yeah, lots and lots and lots of push-ups and they'd shave my head. I was bald for 8 months and it was, the whole thing, lots of discipline. It was the hardest thing I've ever done and probably will remain the hardest thing I've ever done. If I think I'm stressed now, I can always say, and this is the greatest thing that the Army gave me, is that I can always say for basically my entire life, no matter how bad things are, is that I've made it through worse, But once I got out of training, I was just, like I said, I was working a paperwork job. I was in an office. They made me wear full camo and combat boots to my office job. And it just was no fun. And so I was over it. And I was going to leave. And the basically recruiting numbers were way down. And so they were losing a lot. They were losing more soldiers that year than they were bringing in, which hadn't happened for years. So basically they were in panic mode there, where they go, we need to keep the soldiers we have. And I was leaving and they said, oh, we'll give you any job you want. And I said, there's no job that you can give me that I would want. And they said, what if we create a position? What if you just made TikToks and that was your only job and that was it? And I was like, I don't think there is such a position. And they're like, we're gonna give you that job. Then would you consider staying for a little longer? And I was like, okay. And so I stayed for 2 more years and I did the social media
How
stuff.
it'll be longer for 2 more years.
Yeah. But you know what it was I was planning to move here. That whole time I was gearing up to make this big move, to sell everything and move to the Balkans. And I wasn't sure which country I was going to end up living in at the time. But that, of course, was kind of intimidating. And the big thing I needed was, I go, if I'm going to make this social media thing my career, I need experience. When a client sits down and talks to me and says, hey, we were thinking about doing some kind of advertisement with you or doing a collaboration or something, as I can tell them I have tons of experience with that. I've done this many videos and I get these numbers and I've worked with these organizations and whatever. And so that's what I did. And with the Army, it was a constant challenging of my skills. I just wanted to get bigger and better and different. And being in that position was really great because I was kind of like, I want to film with a helicopter today. And they're like, great, go down to the hangar and get on a helicopter and film
You had
something.
options.
I guns or planes or helicopters or boats or missions and all that stuff. So I had complete and total access to basically every rank, every job, every position, because they were hurting so bad for recruiting numbers that they were willing to try anything. And so I took advantage of that, where if anything interesting was happening ever, I was like, you're taking me with. And so over the course of those 2 years, I made, I don't know, more 200 70 something videos for them.
Nice.
And I grew one of their pages from 3,000 followers to 820,000. And it was the same thing, right? I was going to leave and I was going to move to the Balkans after 2 years, and they were like, please don't go. And I was like, no, I'm out. But that was a crazy time, for sure. So, but it was the same as what I'm experiencing now, where I did have a boss then, but like I said, they were so desperate, and I was the only young guy in the office, that they basically just let me do whatever I wanted.
Yeah.
So I was under a lot of pressure and a lot of stress, but it was all self-inflicted. If I just wanted to sit at my desk and do the bare minimum,
You could.
I could have. But then I just would have been severely underprepared for this next stage of my life. And so I really have kind of brute forced my way into having a social media career and to being an influencer. But here's the thing. I didn't have anybody teach me how to do it. Not from the beginning. Nobody taught me. And nobody taught me, like I said, like anything. I don't have any formal education. I'm a musician and a singer. I taught myself how to play the guitar on the internet. I just looked up some tutorials and I went through it. And
how long did it take you to learn?
Well, I think when it comes to learning an instrument, you can break it down into hours, right? So like how many months? I don't know, like 4 months, I would say, before I was decent. But how many hours? I don't know. I think 40, 50 hours and you'll be good. And so if you can knock 40, 50 hours out in 2 weeks, then I think you'll be just as good as if you do in 6 months. So but that's another misconception about learning, right? Is people go out and they say, oh, it took me 2 years to learn this. And it's like, if you look at it in hours rather than years or months, then actually it's really not so bad.
Most of the time.
Like people say they can't learn an instrument or that they can't learn new skills in general. But I think it's just because people are like, they think of things in months and years sort of way. But it's like, it's really, you just put in the hours.
No, of course, you have to put in work. But what I'm interested in is everything you just said, the whole story is pretty amazing, pretty dope. But
Yes.
Thanks.
Yes.
Thanks for the input.
I understand everything.
Do you?
Yes.
He's sober. He says he's
he's sober.
A little bit hard, but in global, I understand everything.
Yes. That was we made a video about that. About I show up. I'm talking to a guy. I'm like, do you know where the train station is? And he goes, yes. And I go, where is it? Yes. I just on and on. Yes. And that, based on a true story.
Of course.
Thank God I'm not like this guy.
Yes, of course. You're.
Yes.
You're
not like this. No. Yes.
No. Yes. No.
But what I was trying to say, what I wanted to know always, it's like I need the most realist, the most honest answer. Why Balkans? Like go deep and dig deep. Like why the Balkans?
It's a strange.
What attracted you to
It's a strange place, but okay. If we're talking about what attracted me here in the very first place, in the very beginning, is the people here are very passionate about your culture,
everything,
and in a way I had never experienced before. Truly, honestly, it started because I'm a car guy. I wanted to buy a Yugo because I thought it would be a fun car project, and they sold them in the United States in the 1980s. And so there's a few floating around there, so I was going to buy one. And I made a video about it, and it went mega viral here, not just in Croatia, but in Serbia and Bosnia, even Slovenia, Macedonia, all of the ex-U republics. And it was this crazy popular video where I had people commenting with such passion about how much they loved that car, how much they hated that car, what memories they had with that car, and whatever. And I go, if I make a video about a Mercedes, the Germans aren't showing up in my comments like, whoa! Or an Alfa Romeo or a Fiat or whatever. Like, this is the only place where it's like, a car was made here. But I could even say, if I was making a video about a Skoda or about a Dacia, just that passion for something their cars is just not there.
It's almost like the face of it, the Yugo was the face of Yugoslavia.
Well, it shares the name of the country, you know. It's and it was a big export, right? The fact that Yugoslavia, my only personal connection to Yugoslavia as some random kid in South Dakota was that car.
Yeah.
And I never would have heard about Yugoslavia or about Croatia or without it. And so I can see where the passion comes from, but I didn't understand it at the time. And that was it, right? So I made a video about the Yugo, it went viral. I made another one, it went viral again. I made another one, it went viral again. And then I made another one where I sang a song in from Serbia, but of course in the same language as Croatia, Bosnia, called Miki Milane, this kind of silly...
Mickey Milan.
Yeah, you know it.
Yeah, of course.
So I sang that song, and it was just mega viral. And I gained like 100,000 followers, like
nice.
That. Which 100,000 within a few days from one video.
It's great. It's amazing.
Mind blowing. Yeah. I mean, good luck. I think there's not even a lot of influencers in Croatia as a country who have 100,000 followers. No. There's not so many.
I mean, I'm not sure. I don't really check the numbers. That's his job.
No, it's kind of impossible to find out who exactly it is. But it's still, it's less than 1,000 people. There's
I think even
less than 100, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I'm not sure though.
It's not so many, to say the least. It's not so many. And there are people here who claim to be influencers for a living who have 40, 50,000 followers. I've got some friends who are influencers who do other jobs, but they influence on the side, a little bit of influencing here and there.
Is that a thing?
And we'll be walking around and they'll get recognized on the street by people. And people will say, hey, you're that guy from that thing. And so 100,000 followers in just a few days, crazy. And I was like, why do they care so much about this stupid song or this crappy car or about, And even the fact that I just said it was a stupid song is enough that gets people angry. Wow, what did he say?
I'm trying to control myself.
Yeah, what did he say about Mickey Milane? How dare he? Right? But as a foreigner, it's so strange. And so I found it, of course, in the beginning, very amusing. And so it's kind of like I did an experiment video where I was just like, I get in front of the camera, I have I took a bottle of Coke and peeled off the label and filled it with water and just had it. And I was like, I am American and I love Rakia. And I drank it from the bottle. That's great. And that was it, like a 15-second video. And it's like hundreds of thousands of views. And it's like, this video sucks. It's not a good video. It's not interesting. Yeah. It's not special. It's just me being like, here's something that you guys like and recognize as a staple of your culture, and I am recognizing it and acknowledging it and saying I like it. And that's enough. And then all of a sudden you're famous in Croatia, Serbia, Bosnia, Slovenia, wherever.
Not really.
Not anymore.
No. It's not even just that. Not really. It worked for you because you're an American and the whole thing.
Yes, as an American. That's the key. Yeah. You have to, as an American, I don't think it would have even worked if I was from the UK or anything like that. America specifically. But I was lucky to stumble into that. But what was important is, it's 50-50. 50% luck, 50% whatever, skill or determination.
Yeah, good thinking.
I recognized the opportunity and I capitalized on it. And so it came to the point where all of a sudden I was followed by basically exclusively Balkan people. And I made videos about the Balkans from my living room in South Dakota without ever visiting for almost 2 years before I made my first dollar doing it. Yeah. So for 2 years, I made no money doing it, and I just kept making those videos, but I had a really passionate fan base. The views were really good. There was lots of stuff there, and I didn't know how I was going to make any money doing it or what was going to happen there, but that passion from that local audience, just, I don't know, it really grabbed me. It really grabbed me as like the fact that you could say that there's such a thing as Croatian food is something that I cannot say about my home state of South Dakota. There isn't South Dakotan food. We don't have our own food. We eat like pizza and stuff. Like, and so it's like, I'm actually, I was going to take my girlfriend, I'm dating a Serbian girl. I was going to take my girlfriend back to my home in South Dakota for Christmas. And I haven't been home for a year and a half.
Yeah.
So it'll be nice to take her back for Christmas. And I was thinking of the things I would show her. And it's like,
Nothing.
I can't be like, this is South Dakotan music. This is South Dakotan food. Or even the idea of things that are American, like, okay, blue jeans are American. But no, they're not, because they've been adopted by the entire world. And so that's just a world thing now. That's not an American thing. And it's kind of the same way with a lot of things that are invented in America. I actually, just about everything I like here, except for guns and modified cars, I can get here in Croatia, because America's things become the world's things. And that's like, here in Croatia, they're very famous that the necktie was invented here.
Yeah.
The cravata,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And I hear that a lot, right? Anytime I'm with a Croatian person and somebody just walks by wearing a tie, they're like, "Did you know that?" I mean, I've heard it so many times. It's like, Americans don't do that, because
There's
what hasn't been invented in America, right? And so the idea that you could say, we invented the necktie, and be so passionate about that, and be so proud, and have so much honor about something like that, is just really fascinating, and I think is a really great thing.
No, of course.
That I just haven't had or experienced in my life.
We have a lot of history though, too. You know, like
a
really
lot of history.
old.
Yeah, as opposed to not so much.
No,
especially in my state.
Yes, we are here from 7th century.
Yes, and all sorts of the
Seventh.
seventh.
Seventh century.
Sandwich. Yeah. Sandwich. Yeah.
Sandwich century.
Yeah, from sandwich century.
No, but there's a lot to like, and there's a lot I don't like, right? I laid out early on, like, the political sort of ideology in my home state is so vastly different from all of Europe, not just Croatia,
of course,
but all of Europe. And so it can be kind of difficult for me to get along with it. I applied for a residency here in Croatia in February, and I just got awarded that residency today.
For real.
Yeah, for real.
Congratulations.
Hey,
man.
thank you very much. I'm finally a resident.
Yeah.
It only took like the entire year. And I was arrested twice because they're like, "You've overstayed." And I was like, "I applied." And they're like, "Well, what are you doing?" And I was like, I'm doing
Waiting. Yeah.
Waiting. Yeah, nothing. And it's like, I think my residency is only for like 6 months.
Yeah.
It's like the application process took longer than 6 months.
Of course.
Like, crazy. And so this kind of, like, the bureaucracy is crazy. And it's not just Croatia, believe me. I tried...
the Balkans.
I tried opening a company in Switzerland, right? I wanted to open a company there and run my business out of there. And that was a nightmare too. And so it's like, you want to run a business out of Switzerland? Well, there's all this red tape and all this bureaucracy and all this time. And you name it, taxes, even something like tolls on highways, right? Is I have to pay the toll, or I have to get a vignette or something. And it's like, there are no tolls in my home state. Like, it's my right to travel on a highway. And if I don't have the money, then like, you built the highway for me with my money. Like, so even when it comes to things like healthcare, which Europeans are very proud of. Yeah. I mean, I had like a medical issue, God, months and months ago, and I was sick, and I wanted to find out if it was serious and get some kind of medication or whatever. And just the whole experience of that was just completely different than what I was used to.
Yeah, but like in a good way or a bad way?
Not in a good way.
Because I've been to the hospital in the States, and
and it wasn't good
at all. I mean, no. Let me get it. Like the care and everything was good.
Yeah.
But the bill wasn't.
Yeah. Well, and I'm used to the bill, but I didn't feel like I feel like the staff there specifically was very apathetic in the sense, sense that they didn't want to be there and didn't really care about me or want to help me or anything. And the truth is probably because they're underpaid and overworked.
Yes, and a lot of people, and I understand everything. I get it, but
and so it's like I'm sick, I'm in pain, I feel like I'm gonna die, and I go up to whatever counter, and the guy there looks like he feels the same as me. You know? And
he probably does, but mentally. You know?
Yeah, and I'm like, oh no.
Do you need some help? Can I help you?
Yeah. And so, and that's the other thing is also being, being famous, being a celebrity. It's like, it's kind of, and this would be the same in the United States, but that's a crazy experience. Like you go to the hospital because I'm sick, I have a problem. And somebody comes up to me and is like, hey man, I'm a big fan, whatever. And I'm like, I'm gonna die. And they're like, what are you doing here? And it's like, oh, let me tell you.
Having time of my life.
Yeah. What are you doing here at the hospital? What brings you here today? It's like,
take a guess.
I don't know. Yeah. All right, stranger. But so those sorts of differences. So it's like the culture and the people and the history and all that is like, it's like magnetic, right? It totally just pulled me in. I was totally taken by it. Living here has its own sort of challenges and difficulties where it's kind of like, and I know everybody's just trying their best and is doing what they know. And I try to have patience with the things that I don't understand. But I got that residency today. And if you would have asked me this morning if I was going to get it, I would have told you, no way. They are kicking me out of the country tomorrow.
It took too long.
I was convinced that it was over, right? Because it had taken so long, and the police came to my house, to my apartment, to verify that I lived there and I wasn't home. And so they called somebody, like my landlord, who I was renting from, and we're like, we came by the house, he wasn't there. We're going to tell whoever's working his case that, and they're going to use that to determine their thing. Okay, bye. I was like, they didn't call ahead. They didn't try to reach me. Like, I just wasn't home. Like, that's it. And my 9 months of going through this process, this application process, and all the paperwork and the money and the stress and the getting arrested and all of that, for what? For a police officer to come to my house and knock on the door and go, he's not here. Denied. But somehow, seemingly magically today, they were like, you got approved. And I was like, they came to my house and I wasn't there. Like, I don't know how that happened. But of course, I followed the rules. I've done everything by the book.
Pretty much.
But it's been a very challenging process. And I know if you're a Croatian and you're trying to live in America, it probably is even harder.
Way harder. I tried it once.
Yeah?
In Vegas.
Yeah,
it was horrible. Horrible.
Yeah,
but,
I'm sure.
Yeah, it was. But that's like, okay, so pretty much all of those that you were saying are the negative stuff.
Yeah.
Except the culture and the passion that you see.
And
the food is
and
amazing,
I could go
right?
on and on about the culture and the food and the passion, and maybe I will. But I've received a lot of support here, just support on support on support. And the truth is, I don't know exactly how this process with my residency got resolved, but it very well could have just been that whoever was handling it just recognized who I was and what I was doing and was like, he needs a break,
It could be.
And I get things like that all the time. There's all sorts of kindness. I remember this, and this will stick with me forever, until I'm old, is earlier this year, I had an incident where my license plates were stolen from my car.
Yeah.
Right, and there was a big controversy about that.
That was in Belgrade, though, right?
No, it was here in
Yeah,
Zagreb.
but with the Belgrade.
With the Belgrade plates,
Yeah.
And that was extremely disheartening, and it was kind of one of those moments where I just kind of thought to myself, well, I don't know. It was very...
It's really normal.
I was disturbed by it, to say the least. And of course, it became this huge news story or whatever, and I went to a restaurant that I had never been to before, and the food was excellent. We ate, and it was great. And then when it came time to pay, I go, we're ready for the bill. And the waiter comes back, and he says, this is for you. And he had taken a piece of paper and drawn a license plate. He had made a license plate for me, and he gave it to me. And he says, the food's on us.
That's dope.
It's free. Welcome to Croatia. And
that's dope. It never happens to me, though, in my own country, but that's dope.
Well, I was like, that's a really nice thing.
Yeah.
And that sort of sentiment where it's like, for every negative thing, there's just a positive thing that just really, it just makes it all worth it.
Yeah, let me just ask you, because we mentioned food a couple of times, just a short answer. What's your favorite Croatian dish?
And
that was my question.
But you know what's funny? I was in Belgrade yesterday on a podcast as well, on a different podcast.
Vaso's, right?
Yes, Vaso's podcast. And he asked me, what's your favorite? And you know what I told him? I said, the best cevapi I've ever had was in Zagreb, actually.
Okay.
There's this place, Stari Kotac.
Awesome. I knew it, that you would say it.
And they just nail it. And I go there all the time. I love that place. And so it's like, I've had a few people come through here every time I'm with friends, or I've got people visiting or whoever. That's always where I take them. And it's just like, I eat cevapi a lot, all the time. I like cevapi.
Yeah.
But here in Zagreb, at that place specifically, I couldn't say, oh, the best cevapi is in Zagreb, but that place.
Yeah.
And they're gonna get, and they don't even need this as a plug from me because they're always busy.
Yeah. They have a couple of spots, I think, like 2 spots.
But and the thing is it's like stuffed with cheese. That's the one I like.
Yeah.
That's the way to do it. If you're talking just like straight up, just like the quality of the meat. I mean, in Bosnia, when it comes to meat quality, they put in the time.
You gotta watch about these things.
People are suffering in Bosnia in the kitchen.
You can start a war, man.
You look into Croatian kitchen, and people in there are relatively normal. They're just kind of working like workers do.
Yeah.
You go to a kitchen in Bosnia, you look in, they're sweating. They got no shirts on. They're just like, they look like they're slaves.
Yeah, that's great. I want that for my food.
Yeah, they're slaving away on that food, and you can taste
like
it.
Like the chest hair on my food and stuff.
Man, that's the best. That's authentic.
That's the best.
That's authentic.
I want sweat on my cevapi.
That is authentic. The salt from the sweat, it makes it especially.
The tears. Yes, I want that one.
Yeah.
But what about like sarma and stuff?
Sarma is one that I'll order at restaurants often, and I'll order it because you can't really get it everywhere. But that homemade, that's another one that you kind of got to slave for. I made an attempt to make sarma when I was back in America, and I learned the suffering that goes into that as well. I think that's the best food comes from suffering.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
it's a labor of love. Is what they say.
I don't know if I'll say it right, but like stuffed peppers, right?
Punjene paprika.
Punjene paprika. Yeah.
Yes,
you like that one?
I had that for the first time when I moved here, actually. And you guys love your peppers, don't you?
Oh yeah.
We don't really have peppers where I come from. Not really. It's not really a thing. But I've started to get into it. I can enjoy punjene paprika, but ajvar I still don't get. I still haven't been able to enjoy ajvar yet. And I try it every time it's placed in front of me. I'll try it.
What the fuck?
Because I think maybe this is the one, but I
What's wrong with you?
I can't do it. I'm American.
You're too American.
Too American.
It will take you about I say about 2 more years.
But you know what's funny is when I first got here, I was always trying like the most exotic, like, oh, I've never tried that before, I never tried this before. I'm trying to try new things all the time. But now that I've been here a while, I'm like, Pleskvica. Like that's what I'll have.
Yeah, that's dope also. Stari kotač has a good pljeskavica. The one with, ono koju smo mi jeli kad smo stibali. Šarena.
Mislim se šarena zove.
How do you say šarena in English?
Šarena.
Many colors. Many colors.
With the many colors, the rainbow. LGBTQ.
Not really, no. Pljeskavica, yeah, not a thing. Not a thing in Croatia. But yeah, like, but did you know, like, many times when people come here from all around, not just the States, from all around, like, it takes some time to get used to the food. Like, did it like, kind of...
No, listen, I remember when I first moved here, I remember one time I sat down. I don't know exactly where it was, but I remember the feeling very well.
Yeah.
I was with a bunch of people, and we had the barbecue, the platter set out with all the different meats and the stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And I was eating it, and I was like, this is delicious, this is amazing. And when I finished it, I was feeling pretty good. And then I got back to my Airbnb for that night, and I just threw up everything. I was just throwing up like the whole night. And it wasn't like food poisoning, I don't think, because it was just brief. It was, I wasn't sick the whole day, but it's just like something in my body was just rejected it. Was just like, this isn't, I don't like this. And my taste likes it, but my stomach does not. And funny enough, after living here for almost a year, I went to Chicago to do some business there. And I love Mexican food. Yeah. And so I went to a Mexican place, and it was like the same experience, right? And I was like, no! I go back and I have the food I love. I have the Mexican food at a Mexican restaurant, and my body's like, nope.
Did you like get the experience?
I like Balkan food now.
Yeah. You are a Balkan now. But did you like get the experience like that the food out here is like a bit more fresh than the food there?
Yes, States? But fresh in maybe kind of has a earthy flavor. In America, we get used to take for example something I still can't eat to this day. I cannot eat the eggs here in Croatia, in the Balkans at all. They make me sick. Just straight up. I cannot eat the eggs. They taste different than in the United States, and my stomach does not like them.
Yeah.
And that's just one of those things. Our eggs are white in America. The shells are white. And those are things that it's like, I just can't control that. You know?
No, you can, of course. Yeah.
And the milk took me a really long time to get used to now. I'm over that now. I can drink the milk here, but at first it was kind of like this doesn't taste right, and this isn't, what I'm used to. So there's kind of natural products. But it's funny, you guys really care here, and like I said, you go to Bosnia and they especially care. I feel like they care the most about the quality of the meat, right?
Yeah.
If you're having meat, it's got to have certain qualities about it that you can tell, like, yes, this is real, this is organic, this is,
the texture and
feels
everything.
Like it was butchered out back in the backyard.
But I like Serbian barbecue and stuff, like Serbian meat. And when we were in Belgrade last year, it was great experience.
Yeah, and in southern Serbia. Yes, Leskovac. I was in Leskovac, and I had, oh my gosh, their meat there and their barbecue and everything. They just, they nail it. Fond memories from Leskovac and eating there. But in America, we don't really care. What we do care about is sauce. We have a lot of sauce.
Yeah.
And so if you were to go to somebody's house and they were to prepare a barbecue, usually they would have a wide variety of sauces to use. And that is what matters, is do you have a good sauce? And the quality of the meat is completely secondary.
That's not how it's supposed to be.
You can't taste the quality of the meat very much when you cover it in
seven
sauce.
Sauces on
when you cover it in sauce. And so, but that's like a big thing about like, have you ever had like a steak sauce, like an American steak sauce? We have a brand called A1. It's very,
I like it though.
It's very intense. It's a very strong sauce. And it completely masks the flavor of the meat. Completely, totally.
I would say kind of enhances it though.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love
I love
steak
it too.
sauce.
Yeah, like
And on my next trip to America, I might grab some and bring it back with me because you can't find it here.
no.
But who's gonna buy it? You know, like I said, if you care about the quality of the meat, you have that kind of sauce, and it's just like, well, you know, I like to taste the meat. But still, I'm still have this obsession with sauce. Like I would eat cevapi with ketchup, like dipping it in ketchup, like any day. You know.
I'm sorry. Moraš ti nešto reći, ne?
No.
No, you don't have to say it.
Sorry, don't speak on Croatian. You
I confuse you. I confuse you. I'm sorry.
me.
I forgot you're an
Yes,
American
no.
now.
Yes.
Yeah, he's an American now. Talking.
But can I say something?
Yes.
We are here now spoken about food, and I must say I'm pretty much hungry. Hungry, not hungry. Hungry is mad, bad.
Yes.
No, you're hungry.
Hungry. I'm hungry.
Yes.
I'm hungry. So, my friend, please.
We have some food for our guests here.
Oh, I
Yes.
was wondering what that was. What is
This is for our friend. He's on a diet, so he has to eat some
Yeah, I
teriyaki
go
chicken. But
to the
for
gym.
you, I ordered a cheese bacon burger.
Oh.
Yeah, I'll eat that. I'm hungry.
No, of course.
Yes, this is a teriyaki chicken salad.
This is your
That's
sauce.
disappointing.
Yes, this is sauce teriyaki
Yes,
chicken.
yes.
Do you need ketchup to dip something in or no?
No.
do you
'cause there
have
should be
maybe,
sauce on the burger?
pork?
Is that barbecue sauce?
It's pork.
I'm happy if I couldn't find barbecue sauce here in the Balkans. I don't know.
You would go back.
I would go back.
Yeah.
But it's very available here, and your barbecue sauce is really not so bad.
Yeah. Enjoy, guys. Enjoy. Hey,
Thank you.
Let me give you just.
Have a nice meal.
Let me give you the napkins, in case you get messy and dirty.
But this is wonderful. Where'd you get this?
This is our sponsors, our friends, our brothers from Koikan. Koikan World Food, man. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, boy.
How do you get sponsors? Do you reach out to them, or do they reach out to
Pretty
you?
much, but they also sometimes reach to us. Yeah. But they have been with us for like almost 3 years now, 2.5 years. So we've been working for a long time now. How's the food? You like it? Good?
Did you have sponsors from the very beginning?
Yeah.
From first episode?
First episode. We had actually 16 of them.
How did you manage that?
Because I'm a little bit psycho.
You're a salesman, huh?
Yeah. I don't know if you want.
Ooh, really? You wouldn't call yourself a salesman? Is that a dirty word to you?
Yeah, a little bit. It sounds kind of a little bit cheap. I don't know. Hustler, maybe
I'm a
bit
hustler,
better.
baby.
Yeah.
This is delicious.
I didn't
molim.
I didn't even hesitate. I just jumped right in. You could
No,
you could have
please.
poisoned it.
Yeah. Nah, just do it. Just do your job.
Next thing you know, I'm naked. I wake up in a dumpster.
And I say, "Welcome to Zagreb, baby." Yeah, but
and then I go to Koikan and I get a meal and I'm like, I'll need the bill, and they give me a piece of paper with a kidney
yeah.
drawn on it, and they go, hey, sorry.
They say, but there's also A1 sauce for it. Yeah. That would be nice, right? To get A1 sauce. What I was trying to ask you.
You said you were in Vegas.
Yeah.
For how long?
Like all together for like 9 months.
9 months.
Yeah.
That's a long time.
Yeah, not bad. It was in 2 trips, but like
I was about to say, how many of those 9 months were legal?
like no, actually everything was legal, like on a tourist visa. So everything was legal pretty much.
Was it ESTA visa or a B2?
I think it was B2, yeah. I think that's what it was called. But now we don't have it. They don't have it anymore from here, I think. It's just like we don't need a visa anymore, right?
You need an ESTA visa.
Now?
Yep.
Can you just go?
No.
Are you sure? Like just to visit, like on a tourist.
No. You gotta get an ESTA visa, which is easy. It's an online application, but it costs $20.
Ah, okay then. Yeah. Because the first like B2 visa was fucking horrible.
Yeah.
And like they can reject you, and they did reject me first time and stuff like that. Yeah.
How did you get him to accept you the second time?
I mean, you gotta keep some things a secret, you know.
Why did they reject you?
Also a secret. I mean, I can't actually like tell everything, spill everything. What am I gonna leave for my book one day?
Ah,
Yeah.
yes, of course.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
like it was kind of the first time I got the visa, I got it for like only 6 months,
Yeah.
like altogether.
Why
No,
Vegas?
altogether, like in Croatia,
No.
not just to stay there, but like it expires in 6 months. And next time when I got the visa, it was for 10 years.
Whoa.
Yeah, like I can at one time stay as much as they give me, you know, like on the fucking what do you call that, on the border and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah.
But the story is I got diabetes in Vegas, almost died and shit. So
Jeez, in Vegas.
yeah, and that's what the hospital bill and everything is
Too many
about.
cheeseburgers.
Not really, no. I had it here already, so but I didn't know it. So
Yeah.
smiješno, a? Smijete se.
Too many cheeseburgers.
Skužio sam, sjedi pored mene, ne?
Vaš smeh me boli.
Da, smijete se, pičice.
This cheeseburger you gave me was my 4th cheeseburger today. I just want to point that out. And that's actually not a lie. It's true. Because I was at McDonald's.
Yeah.
I got 3 double cheeseburgers. And so I ate 3 double cheeseburgers at McDonald's.
So you can say you're on a
know.
cheeseburger diet.
Yeah, and now I
but
had
this
another
was a
cheeseburger.
cheese and bacon burger.
Yeah, that's true. That's an upgrade.
Upgrade. Yeah,
Heart
but it was
attack.
good though, right?
Yeah.
Fresh. And
It was good.
I like it. I like it that you like it. Okay.
I've barely eaten today.
Yeah, that's what you call it. That's what you call it. Like normal food. Yeah. Okay, so like you've been to pretty much all of the Balkans, right? You spent like
Yeah.
How come? Because I think you were at Ratko's podcast one of the times, and you said that.
I spent some time with Ratko outside of the podcast. But
Yeah.
he was not the one who interviewed me.
No.
No, it was
Oh yeah,
not.
it was Marco. It was
Marco.
Kontakt. Yeah. You got it. You made some sketches with Ratko also.
Yes.
And,
Yep, I did.
and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah. So when I went to the podcast there, I was with Marco, and then I met Ratko like months later, like at a completely different thing, and he was like, "Oh yeah, that was my podcast," and I was like, I was with another guy, and he's like, "Yeah, but it's mine." And I was like, "Where were you?" And he's like, "Ah."
Yeah. But did you do like the sketch or something? Did you do it at Slavonski Brod or
Yeah,
you do it
something
here?
like that. Yeah. We went to the Rammstein concert in Belgrade. I went with a friend of mine, and it's just a mutual friend, and we were together in the caravan there. It was good.
Yeah, but when you were talking,
He was telling me about mushrooms and stuff.
no,
It
of
was
course,
cool.
yeah, I understand and stuff like that, yeah. So the normal Ratko talk,
Yeah.
Just, but when you were at podcast incubator, you were talking about like where you're gonna situate yourself. Like I think it was Serbia though.
Yeah, I was probably still homeless at the time. I was homeless for like 10 months.
10 months. Like, did you like literally lived in a car?
I stayed in I stayed in like more than 100 Airbnbs and Booking.com places and hotels and stuff like that. So like, I was jumping from place to place to place, town to town.
But
to
why
town,
though?
all the time. Well, for content, of course. I mean, that I just got here, and essentially, the strategy was, okay, I'm well known in this region already. I've been making videos for a few years now about the Balkans, but nobody knows that I'm here. And so if I'm going to make any money doing this, people need to know that I am in your town. And so we set up a route, and we kind of just went from major city to town to village to here to there. And over the course of 10 months, it basically came to the point where we were, and I say we, I mean my business partner Petar. He's a former tour guide, and he's in a lot of my videos. Kind of long grayish hair, beard, Serbian guy, and he and I kind of jumped through all of the ex-Yugoslavia republics to every capital city, and then once we finished that tour, we got a ton of offers from businesses, specifically local places that were like, hey, I want you to make an ad for my restaurant. And it's like, okay, well, we can't do that from anywhere. The only way we can do it is if we come to your restaurant. So we go to the restaurant and somebody says, oh, I want you to make an ad for my hotel. And we go, okay, we're going to your hotel. And so bouncing from place to place to place, literally, we did not settle down for those 10 months because it just didn't make any sense. Because we were traveling so much. I didn't stay in one city and oftentimes even one country for longer than a week at a time. Because I'm in Bosnia this week, I'm in Croatia the next week, I'm back in Bosnia, and then I'm in Slovenia, and then I'm in Serbia, and all of that. So when I was talking before about staying in Serbia, I wanted to stay in Serbia because that's where my girlfriend was.
Yeah.
And also we figured that it would be the most opportunity there because this is the largest city. We were wrong. There is, as somebody who is a social media influencer who has made commercials and made a living in every single ex-Yugoslavian republic, I would say Croatia is the best to make a living in. That doesn't mean it's easy.
No, of course.
But it is the best specifically from the money-making side. And I have a few theories about that. And I think it basically... let me break down the sort of ideology from my three primary countries that I work in is Slovenia, Croatia, and Serbia. Slovenia is the furthest westward, and Slovenian companies are by far the most difficult to negotiate with. Every company I do end up working with is fantastic, and they're very kind, and they're very accommodating, they pay quickly, but it's something like they reach out to me and they say, we want you to make a video for us. And I go, great, let's do this collaboration. It costs, I don't know, just throw out a number, just for the illustration, right? If you want to know how much I actually cost, you'll have to send me an email. But let's say I say it costs $1,000, right? Or 1,000 euros. They would come back to me and say, oh, could you do it for 150 euros? And it's like, no, like you're way off base. And that's usually where the negotiating stops. You go to Serbia and you say, okay, it's 1,000. You get one of two answers. We can't afford that, or yes, absolutely, let's do it for full price. That's it. And they're not nickel and diming. They're not trying to negotiate. It's not like, could you do 700 and this? Could you do 2 videos for 1,000? Could you whatever? No. In Serbia, they just do it, or they don't. But we get a lot more rejections from Serbia because there's just not a lot of businesses that have that kind of money to throw around. And so then there's Croatia, which is we get the most yeses from companies by far for full price. And my theory for that is because in Slovenia, they're too experienced with social media and with influencers. They know what these things cost. And in my experience, influencers don't know what they're worth. And so whatever numbers they pick to charge a company is completely arbitrary. So they say, well, how much do you charge? And an influencer says, 300 euros. And the company says, how about a 50 euro gift card? And the influencer goes, okay.
Damn.
And that's it. And that happened, believe me. I've talked to so many of these influencers in Slovenia, and I was told that I was not going to get more than 200 euros from any of the businesses there. That is the maximum. That is the high. Yeah, that is the highest they pay. Period. Is 200 euros.
But
I get a lot more than that. A lot more. But it's a painful process. And so it's kind of like we're like, whoa, 2,000 euros for this for what you're asking for. And that threshold, they're like, oh, we were thinking 200. And you need to be patient and be like, all right, listen, you're thinking 200 because this is what you think you're going to get. But that is not what you're going to get. You're going to get much more. And you're going to get something that's going to be worth a little more like 2,000. And I can prove it. And if you have that patience and you go through that process, you can win. And we have, and we continue to. And everybody's happy, right? But in Croatia, they don't have as much experience, companies here. They do not negotiate as hard, and they're very eager to get into this sort of Western mentality where, well, they're doing the social media influencing in US, in Germany, in the UK, whatever. So we got to do that. Like, we're behind, you know? This is the future. And so in Croatia, they want to be a part of the future, and so we get much more offers, and they're much more willing to accept prices.
Yeah.
As opposed to Serbia, it's the complete opposite. They're significantly more traditional, and they don't understand social media, and they don't want to use it. And so we do an ad with a Serbian company, and it gets 4 million views. Like, it's a huge hit. There's like 6 million people in Serbia. So 4 million views for a Serbian company in Serbian language is insane. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Especially, and I'm like, we undercharge these guys like by a lot. I feel like I got here. And then we go back and we talk to them about the response, and they're like, well, we don't get it. I'm like, what?
But what about you didn't mention? What about Bosnia?
Bosnia. Okay, so Bosnia is most of the people I end up working with in Bosnia, and I would say from those three that I mentioned, I work with Bosnia probably the fourth most, and I think it's just because there is just frankly less businesses that are even thinking about that sort of thing. They're more of just thinking of starting or surviving or whatever. I mean, marketing is kind of a luxury of a business, and there's a lot of great businesses in Bosnia, but the luxury of that kind of marketing is not really there so much. The companies I work with in Bosnia are primarily doing it almost as like a flex, like almost like as a bragging point. They're like, we don't really care about getting any marketing or any numbers or any of the stuff from this. We just want people to know that you're famous and you were here, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, I'm cool with that. You know, whatever the client wants. But because that is primarily the mentality, that is, that's really it. But here's the thing. Every time I go to Bosnia and I just make videos about being in Bosnia, they do extremely well. And I get recognized in Bosnia and approached on the street more than any other country, and it's not even close.
Really?
Yeah, especially when I drive the Yugo, the gold Yugo. Every time we go to Bosnia, people are honking and they're waving everywhere we go. There's huge amounts of enthusiasm for me there. And so I love going to Bosnia. I really do. I just wish I had more excuses to go. I wish I had more brands reaching out to me who wanted to pursue it.
Of course.
But the goals there are just so different, and I think there maybe is also kind of a misconception there because of lack of experience about how much things cost, how difficult the process is, things like that. So basically, in Bosnia, you're a Bosnian business owner, you've got some extra money, and you go, well, maybe we could get an influencer, and they go, oh, he's too famous for us, or he's too big a deal, or whatever, he's going to charge too much money or something. But it's probably because they've never done that before. They've never reached out to an influencer before. They don't know how this works.
Still an unknown field. You know?
Yeah. And this is all just kind of guesses, but from my sort of feeling it out, and here's the thing, I can think of all the clients I've worked with, I think I've had maybe 2 bad experiences out of the more than 100 I've worked with, because I only work with clients who reach out to me first. And there's something I think very sort of humbling about that, where they ask for my help, and so they trust me and they want me to do things my way, and they want me to do what's going to work for them. And so these people are usually fans, you know, and they're very thankful to have me there. They're very gracious. And it's just great. And I would say the smaller the company, the more you feel that, you know?
Of course.
And so it's like...
And it's easier.
Yeah, and so it's like we go to a smaller business and, you know, you shake the guy's hand and you work with him the whole day. He asks great questions. And then he goes, have dinner with my family tonight. And you go, great. And you have dinner and it's just a wonderful time and you make good friends. As opposed to working with large corporations, they can be difficult. You know, there's a lot less personal connection there. And they try to keep up appearances a lot more. Like I was working with a company in Slovenia, a big company. Who was it? I guess I don't want to name any names, but it was a big company, worldwide, a global company. And the representative they sent to work with me was really great, extremely professional. And then when we finished the job, she was like, oh, we should take some pictures together. We took some pictures and she goes, oh, my nephew, and she pulled out of her bag, she had a printed picture of me. She goes, my nephew is your fan and wants you to sign this for him and all of that. And just like turned into like total fangirl, like this is so great and I'm so glad we did this. And then she left. And I was like, oh, I don't even think she knew. This whole time working together, I didn't think she knew who I was. Because she was so professional and on point. As opposed to with the smaller businesses, like beginning to end, they're just nothing but fun. Bosnia is especially that way. So hopefully I'll get more excuses to go back there.
Yeah, I think you will.
But so you go back to it. Every company I work with exceptions of a few, which I'm not going to name, but almost all of them are just really great. Yeah. Really, really great, no matter the country. And one thing I experience, and this is always really cool, is that sort of cross-cultural sort of thing. Like I'm in Slovenia, and somebody says, oh, I saw that video you made in Serbia, and I really liked that video. I thought it was great. And I was like that's cool, you know, to see that that sort of acknowledgement between maybe these sort of fractured countries, you know, at this point. And yeah, it's great.
But like, I get it. Okay, great answer, by the way. But, no,
I don't give short answers. I'm not good at short answers.
I applaud it actually. But okay, but this is like almost not strictly, but almost like only from the business side. Like what you just said, like why are you here? But let me hear your like honest side about the countries. Like which one do you prefer? Which country you like the most? Like with the people and the culture and the cities and everything. Like no offense to anybody, you know, just a
no offense to anybody. Well, you know, it's kind of like, you know, I'm a car guy, right?
Okay.
I own 5 cars.
Oh, nice.
Right now.
Here.
Unfortunately, yes. I'm running out of parking spaces. Okay. And it's like I have a new Mustang EcoBoost. I have the Yugo. I have an old Porsche from the 70s. I've got my Zastava van. And so it's like you kind of go, I just like cars, man. I like all cars. And which one I drive on which day is kind of up to me. And none of those cars are particularly expensive. I don't really have expensive taste.
Okay.
It's more about the adventure and the experience and fun. So I buy broken cars. Every one of those cars I just listed for you is broken in some way, and I fix them.
Okay.
Each of those cars is good at different things, even the Yugo, you know. And sometimes during a day, I'll just be like, yeah, I want to. That the Yugo is the car I want to drive, just because of the way it is. And so when it comes to countries, Slovenia reminds me the most of home, for sure.
Really?
It was the first European country I ever visited. And I was so shocked at how, I don't know, normal everything seemed. It's very clean. The people are very friendly.
Well, they've been
the nature,
the Union very long.
Yeah, the nature is outrageous. The prices are actually pretty similar to where I come from. So as opposed to like you go to Serbia and they're much cheaper.
Yeah.
As opposed to, and even in Croatia, they're cheaper. Slovenia, it's a little more expensive, right, than Croatia and Serbia. But it's actually closer to what I'm used to. Mm-hmm. So when it comes to like how much does XYZ thing cost, I know what it costs. I know what it's worth. The roads are wide. They're easy to navigate. Traffic isn't so bad, even in the capital city. And so if we're talking about like, I feel most relaxed in Slovenia. And then when it comes to Croatia, I think Croatia has the best nature for sure on the seaside. If you can look past the crazy crowding with the tourists, there's just so much history to see. Every time I go back to Dalmatia, I'm just amazed. And like Plitvice, I was there. Wow, just world class. And then of course you have a place like Zagreb, which is great for business. To be honest with you, I'm not a big fan of the layout of the city of Zagreb. I'm constantly stuck in traffic here. I can never find parking.
It's pretty much new, by the way. It hasn't been always like that.
It's frustrating, and I find myself
sucks.
when I'm in Zagreb, sometimes with a lack of things to do, just like for fun, as opposed to, and Slovenia, there's not much to do either. So they kind of share that. But Croatia is like, they've got business. There's business to do in Zagreb, and that's why I'm here. Honestly, if there wasn't any business to do in Zagreb, it's not the city I would choose to live. Mostly because of like the layout and the traffic. But that's just me. I'm just not used to it. Belgrade has even worse traffic problems, but there's significantly more to do. There's something interesting on every corner, and the culture there is so strong. I would say I'm not a fan of nationalism in any country, even the United States. But as a foreigner, this very intense pride that Serbs have just for being Serbs is
just for being
something to witness, something to be in awe of. Like I was with my girlfriend the other day, and she asks me the most Serbian question ever. She goes, "How do you feel about the Cyrillic alphabet?" And I'm like,
"Watch what you say."
Yeah. And I was like, "Well, from my perspective as a foreigner, like, don't kill me. It's pretty inconvenient." And she's like, "Well, it's easy to learn. It's 30 minutes and you could learn it." I'm like, "That's 30 minutes of inconvenience."
But I don't want it.
And it's like, I've brought Croatian friends to Serbia with me, and they don't read Cyrillic. They don't know.
I mean, it was mandatory in schools back in Yugo. Though.
Back in Yugoslavia.
But I think it ended with war, or maybe before.
I don't have Cyrillicu in school. First generation.
Yeah, neither me.
So you guys don't know it?
I don't know it.
You can't read it?
No. I can guess a little bit, but like, I don't know.
Yes. I'm first generation who didn't have school. Didn't have, sorry. But I live in Granica.
Border. He lives very close to...
Chorilicu sounds like a dessert of some kind.
Yeah, really doesn't. No, to us it doesn't.
To me it does. It sounds like a dessert.
He lived in a city near to the Serbian border.
Yes, and when I watch cartoons with translate, it was on Cyrillica.
Interesting. Yeah, but okay. That's something to Serbs that is part of their identity, and that's what she said. Inconvenient. Mm-hmm. What? How dare you? You know.
But like, do they still care about it? Because it's not like it's. I mean,
they absolutely do.
Yeah,
they absolutely.
I see it in the comments and stuff like that.
But I was told very clearly by her. She goes, "That's part of our national identity. If there's no Cyrillic, there's no Serbia." And I'm like, as an American, the idea that an alphabet could help define you as a nation,
now, of course, you guys don't care.
It's crazy.
This is in English and down there is in Spanish. So you guys.
Well, it's like English isn't an American language.
Of course,
we took it from somebody else.
Yes.
And so it's
Like
like,
everything else.
that we didn't invent that alphabet, and we didn't invent the words we use.
No, of
and
course.
so our language in America, American isn't a language. It's not even a dialect. American is, I mean, like we say aluminum instead of aluminium, but like that's about as deep as it goes. And so Serbia, like that's an example of this sort of culture there.
Yeah.
They're very proud of their culture, and in Croatia and the rest of XU, they're very proud of their culture as well, and what makes them unique. But I would say
understand
Serbia
what you're
has
saying.
more of
Yeah.
that, where even in Croatia, people are more, how would you say, sort of attached to their region, right? Like if you're from Zagreb, if you're from Zagreb, this is your city and this is where your identity is. And if you're from
Like we don't
Split,
even like, we don't like each other. Like,
like, okay, like take for example this license plates thing, right?
Yeah.
I had a bunch of people telling me from here in Croatia, in Zagreb, who go, yeah, I went to Split and my license plates got stolen. It's like that's the same country.
Like I actually went to Split and I had a blue T-shirt on, just a normal blue from like H&M.
Yeah.
And I got approached and like with fans from Hajduk.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like, "Oh, you wearing blue?" I'm like, "It's not that serious." I swear to God, I don't even watch soccer, football, whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm like, no, I'm just a fashionable guy. You know?
Yeah,
Something
yeah.
like you have right now. Yeah. The V cut. Is it V cut?
No, it's got a microphone on it.
Microphone. Yeah.
Yeah, but you look at Serbia. I mean, of course, you want to talk about Serbia being united, and I won't get political, but I mean, like Kosovo. I mean, it's much worse between. It's much worse between Belgrade and Kosovo than it is Split and Zagreb.
Yeah. Yeah, it depends, but it is in general, But like, that's a bad thing. Also, it was kind of bad like that with Croatians and Serbs, of course, But like, this is pretty deep,
Yeah. Well, and I don't know. There's people talking about it getting worse again. Like things were, of course, really bad just after the war.
Yeah.
And then they kind of mellowed out, and now they're starting to pick up again. Like.
Well, you kind of guys, you guys kind of mellowed it down. The Americans when they were around. But like I heard that shit going down well too.
Yeah.
It's not.
Well, yeah. Trump's gonna make sure that America.
They build a wall.
We're not doing anything in Europe. We're pulling out of Europe entirely. No, America as a nation will survive his presidency. There's no question about it. Whether you like him or don't or whatever.
But what's your stance about it?
I don't like the government
At all.
anywhere.
Yeah.
Like I talked about it before, I think the government is kind of like an oppressive sort of system, and that's what our founders of America believed. And so they made our government as slow and don't do that.
What happened? What?
You're gonna break your teeth live on the podcast?
Never.
All right, let's see it. Let's read. All right. We care about our teeth in America.
Did you? Do you really? Most of you guys have the wieners. What do you call them? Wieners? What do you call them?
Veneers.
Veneer.
Veneers.
I mean, you say aluminum and aluminium, so it doesn't.
Yeah.
The veneers. That actually makes sense.
Yes.
Because it's two E's, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that makes sense.
In America, yeah.
Yeah, but like this is Balkan, so we like it's good now because when I used to get drunk, the wine glasses.
Yeah.
Yeah, when we get drunk, we eat them. No, I'm not even joking.
I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it yet, but we'll see. I need to
What
go
are
to
you
a few more
doing
parties.
on the weekends?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
mother doesn't born a pussy.
Yeah. I believe you.
Oh my God. Yeah.
I believe you.
Brother, it was okay.
Not at all, but yeah. But
I get it.
understood
I catch
He
your
understood
drift.
it. Yeah.
Okay. Most important.
I'm sorry about this. It happens.
What was?
It happens in Croatian.
I completely lost my train of thought. You've
I
done the
don't know
podcast
why.
thing. I was going to tell you the secret to life, the universe,
All
and
I ever
everything,
did
and now
was
I don't
open
remember.
a bottle with my teeth.
I don't even remember what I was talking about.
Now let me ask you something. But doesn't matter. Let me ask you something.
About government.
Yeah.
the government. I was talking about the
No, we don't care about the government. Let me ask you something. Okay, you keep talking about a lot of these countries in the Balkans and what you like about them, what you don't like them, and stuff like that. Kind of like mixed with a little bit with emotions and stuff. What you like about the cities, what you don't like, the layout and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But where do you feel most unsafe? In which
Most
city?
unsafe?
Yeah.
Oh.
Which city?
Good question.
That is a good question.
I know where I do.
Yeah.
Huh. Man, it's really, I don't think I could say. I really don't. Because, I mean, like, here's the truth. I've spent the most time in Zagreb, and my car was vandalized twice in Zagreb. But also something to consider, different cars too. Something to consider is that I have spent the most time here. And here's the thing. I mean, I did neglect to say this before, but we were making a YouTube series. We were traveling through Serbia, and somebody did steal the keys to the Yugo. Petar, my guy, left the freaking keys in the ignition. Somebody took it for a joyride around the block, brought the car back, took the keys. And so it's like we've experienced some issues in Serbia as well. Yeah, it's weird. And yeah, of course, Petar, my guy, he's always getting into trouble. In Novi Sad, he had his backpack stolen, which had his passport in it, and money, and a bunch of my stuff, and it was stolen. And I was just like sitting there somewhere for just, I don't know, 5 minutes, and it's just gone. And so I've experienced some sort of difficulty in places like all around. Now, of course, I haven't experienced anything like that in Bosnia or Slovenia, where I've spent quite a lot of time. But I don't really like to go out alone at all in general. I usually have somebody with me when I go out. Main reason for that is because of my issues speaking the local language. It's kind of difficult. Somebody comes up to me and is, "Whoa, American guy, whatever," and is all excited and whatever, and I can't communicate with them at all. It's really awkward and strange. And so, but I would say ultimately I feel pretty safe everywhere. I mean, like somebody messes with my car in Zagreb, or somebody steals my friend's backpack in Novi Sad or whatever, but nobody has ever threatened me with any violence in person ever. I went to Dinamo Hajduk football match, and
Crazy
that was great because I took pictures with Dinamo fans. I took pictures with Hajduk fans. I don't have a dog in this fight. I'm not,
Yeah.
And so I get to kind of enjoy both and just kind of, whoever's the better team wins, and that's it. And I can accept that.
Lucky bastard.
And I felt completely safe. And people were talking about like, oh, it's going to be dangerous. There could be a riot. There's going to be whatever. And I felt pretty okay. The game tied 0-0. It was very disappointing.
That's why it was okay.
I was like, all of that for this? For this? 0-0. And everybody goes, oh, that was a bad match or whatever. It's like, how often does this happen? And it's like, too often.
Not that often.
0-0 is pretty disappointing. And then I went to another football match, which was Montenegrin national team versus Serbian national team in football. And I think Serbia won. It was 2-1. That was a little better. But because the game is so fast-paced, out of the 3 goals that were scored, I only saw one of them with my eyes. Because the other 2, I was like talking with somebody. I'm like, yeah, we're chit-chatting. And then everybody's like, whoa! And I'm like, oh, yeah, we did it. Like, you got to pay too close of attention because a goal could be scored like at any moment, you know? And so you got to...
It's sport, man.
You got to be lasered in. Yeah, I watch a lot of NFL, right, American football, and it's not like that at all. It's starting and stopping all the time. And so there's a play, and it happens, and then there's 30 seconds where you just kind of talk to the guy next to you. Hey, what do you think of that play? And how are the wife and kids and whatever. As opposed to with football, you just got to be locked in, or you're gonna miss something. One of these days I'll understand it. But I felt safe there as well. It's funny. I remember one time I went to a rugby match between a Bosnian rugby team and Slovenian rugby team. It was an interesting matchup. It's the only rugby match I've ever been to. And that was funny because I was filming a video at the match, just trying to be like, oh, I'm experiencing rugby and these two cultures and teams. And it was the same thing, right? I was taking pictures with Bosnian guys, with Slovenian guys. I was kind of on both teams, both sides. Slovenia won. And afterwards, for the video, I did like a get together with both teams. So I went to the Bosnian team, I wore a Bosnian shirt, and I went to Slovenian team, I wore a Slovenian shirt. And as I was exiting the locker room with Slovenian guys, I bumped into this huge rugby player, Bosnian guy, and he goes, "Why do you wear this shit?" And I'm like, "Well, I was just with the team," and he goes, "They would beat you in Bosnia for this." I was like, okay.
Thanks for the info.
Yeah. But that was one of those things that I wanted to film there at the game. But with the Bosnian, they imported some of their hooligans in to watch. And they were, of course, very crazy and drunken and whatever. And they brought a big drum that they were pounding on. And I was filming them, and somebody comes out and he about smashed my phone. And he's like, "You can't film the hooligan guys." And I was like, "Why?" And his English wasn't so good, and so he's talking to the guy I was with, and I get the translation. He's like, "Oh, the police are looking for some of these guys."
Yeah.
I was like, "Well, okay."
Yeah. Pretty much always the same thing, the same reason. Yeah.
Yeah.
But did you like when you've been here for a year and a half, you say, right?
Yeah.
Like all together?
Since July of last year.
Okay. So when you take a look back at everything, did you receive from the Balkans what you expected? Did you get more or less, like all together, like the whole experience? Are you surprised by some things? Are you let down by some things? Like what's in general?
I got more than I expected. There's no question about it. I didn't have so much money when I came here.
Okay.
I had like a few $1,000s. I think I came with like 4,000 or 5,000, and I sort of estimated that was enough to last me 3 months. And because I had never in my life made any money on social media through sponsorships, it was my job in the army, but they paid me a salary. So I didn't even know how that worked. I didn't know how much to ask for. I didn't know if anybody was going to want to do it, if there was a market for it, nothing. And so when I showed up, I go, all right, I've got, $5,000. We'll stretch it as far as we can. And when the money runs out, I'll go home and start over again. And what am I going to do? I don't know. Maybe I'll go back to insurance. Maybe I'll do something in the army as a civilian or something. And that was my plan. And somehow, a year and a half later, I'm still here. And so I feel very lucky, very blessed to still be here, to keep the dream kind of alive, because I didn't know what was going to happen. I was expecting a crazy adventure that a lot was going to go wrong, and I didn't know what was going to go right. And, it's funny. I feel like I've ended up being a lot less sort of resilient since I moved here, because early on, especially being fresh out of the army, we trained very often. I was in really good shape and had sort of been through a lot of sort of hardship there. I was prepared for the worst. So everything that kind of went wrong in those first few months, every setback was like, oh, great. This is going to make a great video. Like, this is part of it, Things going badly is, you almost kind of look for it. You look for the next failure or the next trouble. But now that I've been here long enough, when things go wrong, I'm like, I can't handle it.
You have Balkan now, so your temper kind of got
I
worse.
complain, and then I do nothing about it.
And of course, you learn some bad words, curse words, right?
Yes,
words,
a few.
a few of them.
A few.
All of them.
A few. But, but I'll tell you what, and this is, once again, it's very American of me. I'm very proud of the curse words here in the Balkans. Everybody asks me about it. In America, we don't curse as much. You see lots of cursing in popular media and things like that. But in everyday life, not so much.
And it's also not that creative as
No, it's not. But here's the thing. When somebody swears in English, that person means it. Like, it's a very strong feeling, and it's
I know what you're trying to say.
Like, I had never heard my father say a curse word. I mean, ever. My dad doesn't curse. He doesn't. I remember one time as a kid, I'm on the couch doing something. I don't know, maybe I was on the laptop or something, and my dad tripped and fell down the stairs, like from the top, and a picture was hanging above the stairs, and it fell off the wall and on top of him, crashed on top of him. He's at the bottom of the stairs, and he goes, "Doggone it!" And it's like, if there was a time to swear, And so if I was in a conversation with my dad, and he said a swear word, I would know he meant business, right?
Yeah.
But if you find yourself swearing all the time, as creatively as it may be, you cannot get your points across like someone like my dad could, who's somebody who never swears, If I want to feel that strong emotion from him, he can use his words more carefully. And so maybe they swear a little too much here in the Balkans,
Yeah, but it's like, I think it's more like a figure of speech. It's not really like there are times when you actually mean it, but like we kind of like use the cuss words in our
it's just part of it. But and so that the sort of like I feel so strongly about this that I am saying a word that I am not allowed to say, right? But there's no word that you're not allowed to say in Croatia. You can say anything you want.
Yeah.
Whether a business meeting or in front of your mother, your mother will swear at you, and that's something I get in a conversation about swearing, and people are always saying that people's mothers going "Pičku mater," to them.
Like, I don't actually I don't even hear it anymore.
Yeah,
it's like so common every day that I don't even like recognize.
And it is funny, like I'll hear my girlfriend talking on the phone to her parents, and she's like swearing, and I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
Like, even as an adult, I might get hit by one of my parents if I was swearing.
Yeah.
They'd punch me through the phone.
My parents would worry if I don't swear.
But that's that cultural difference. But it's like, and that's another thing. Like, you listen to I'm in the supermarket. They've got the radio playing, and they've got some word, and they're saying the F word, and they're swearing and whatever, and I'm like, there are kids here. You gotta be saying that, as opposed to all of our songs on the radio are censored. And it makes some rap songs unlistenable. They play some rap songs on the radio, and there's so many bleeps and parts cut out that it's like,
a lot of
give me a break.
Blanks, just silence.
It's like, wow. But the idea of playing music anywhere in any setting with swear words in public, no.
Really?
No. And maybe if you're in the hood or something, but it's that's not socially acceptable, right? At all. So it's like if you're listening to music with cussing, with swear words or whatever, that's for your headphones or for your car or for your house. Not in any public place.
I get it.
But that's one of those things where, and there's lots, everybody swears sometimes, but in America, despite not being very creative, the swear words are much more potent.
Yeah.
So, that's something we have there. But it's really funny that it's like even English swear words, like, you don't censor. Like, I was acting on a television series in Serbia.
Okay.
I just got back from Belgrade now. I was there because I was on this television series, which is funded by the government, right?
Yeah.
And
Can you say the name of it?
Well, it's kind of through a long sort of chain, but in the end, public funds go towards it. This series is called a Hotel, like 3-star hotel, I think is what it's called.
Okay.
And I'm supposed to be a guest at this hotel.
Okay.
And there's like a lot of swearing in the script, in English and in Serbian. And I was like, this is like daytime television. Like anybody could be watching. But the idea that it's like that children would be watching something with swear words in it. There's this new movie that came out with, is it called Red One? With The Rock, Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Oh yeah,
Chris Evans.
like the Christmas
one, right? And it's like, this is supposed to be
what's his name? Captain America.
Chris Evans. Yeah. And I did a commercial for them to promote the movie, to promote people to go see it. And I was looking at the reviews, and one thing that kept coming up is like, this is not a family movie. They say the F word in this movie. And it's like, there are kids watching this film. And it's like, here in the Balkans, they'd laugh. What do you mean?
But let's get away from the cuss words for a second. You mentioned your dad and the cussing, which he's not doing, so that's good for him. But like, he's been here in the Balkans, like once or twice.
Yeah, twice.
Twice already.
No, 3 times.
3 times.
Because he was in Slovenia with me 3 years ago.
Oh, okay.
And that was the first European country I ever visited, and he came with me. Just to make sure I wasn't going to get kidnapped, because that was a crazy experience, right? It's like, oh, I'm famous in Slovenia, and nobody in my family or anywhere even knows where that is. And I'm like, some guy on the internet invited me to come to Slovenia to see him, and my dad's like, I'll come with, just to,
make sure
everything's cool. But he loves it here. He's a pretty well-traveled guy. He's been kind of all over the world.
Does he like enjoy the food and people?
Yeah. It's been great. He doesn't drink, so that was funny. I got him to drink rakia on video. I posted a video about that, and I asked him, I go, when was the last time you drank alcohol? And he goes, 1993. Long time. But the food. I mean, he loves Americans. We love meat. We love it. But you guys have that special. That je ne sais quoi, as they say,
yes, we do.
That I don't know what,
Yeah. It's just the love, though.
Yeah.
It's the love and how we treat our animals and stuff.
But my dad really, really enjoys being here, and it's fun. Of course, me having more experience living here, I get to show him more things and sort of do more things. It was one of the things we did. I'm going to post this video. It'll be live by the time the audience sees this.
Yeah.
But he brought orange Fanta from the United States.
Okay.
Have you tried it when you were in Las Vegas?
Yeah.
And it has no juice in it. There's no orange juice. And we did a comparison between the American and the European version. Completely different.
Oh, for real.
And I think it's a really good sort of example of like the cultural differences. It's like the American one is like high fructose corn syrup, fully artificial, and it's bright orange. As opposed to the European one looks like orange juice. It tastes like orange juice. Like it tastes like something natural, honestly. Yeah. Like it almost tastes healthy as compared to the American Fanta. And when you compare them, the American one looks like something you would put in your car, like coolant, and the European one looks like something you would drink. And it's just like, even after being here, I tried them both back to back, and it's like, European one is much better. Yeah. Like it is. Like I feel fancy drinking. Yeah. Like American one is like gas station. European one is like restaurant. Yeah. There's something nice about this.
What about, like you mentioned before, that you ate at McDonald's today?
Yep. All the time. I eat at McDonald's.
Can you feel the difference though? Because I felt it, like for real.
Yeah. Did you think it was better in the U.S. or in?
Nah, here.
Really?
It's fresher.
It is, but that's not what I'm used to. I like the grease.
I get it. But like, I like the fries in the States.
It's more tasteful in the United States. There's more flavor.
I mean, it's been a while. It's been like 8 years.
I'm gonna try it when I go back for sure.
No, of course.
Maybe I'll sneak a few cheeseburgers into my suitcase. I'll bring them back.
We have a deal.
We'll do it.
Don't tease me with good times, man. Yeah. But I would like to refresh my memory. But yeah, it's the food here, like especially McDonald's, it's a bit fresher. But I like the fries better there. Maybe because the same thing, like
it is fresher here. Yeah. I agree with that. But nah, I don't like fresher. The American way is the best. And I've gone back to the United States 3 times in the last year and a half. All 3 times was to Chicago because I had work there.
Yeah. You haven't been home though.
No, I haven't. No. And I eat like nothing but fast food when I'm there because I miss it so much. Like McDonald's is all you guys have, but it's like I go every time I'm in Chicago.
We have Burger King and KFC.
It's terrible.
Yeah, KFC is not as good. Not as good.
You guys got a Pizza Hut now too, and it's just.
I haven't even eaten it. No.
It doesn't do it for me.
No, of course. But do you like our pizza though? Like normal pizza? Creation pizza?
It does not touch American pizza to me. I mean, you probably had pizza when you were in America.
Yeah, and I like it here a lot better.
Yeah, it's thicker in America. It's greasier.
It's way greasier.
It's so much grease. You got to use a napkin.
Yeah, but I don't like that.
Sop up the grease.
It's sick,
that's
really?
the way. Yeah. In Chicago especially. Yeah, their pizza is like a proper pie, like thick. There's this place, my favorite pizza place in that I've been to, like, period, in Europe, is in Belgrade, and they do Chicago-style pizza.
Yeah.
And I eat it, and I'm like, yep, they got it. Like, this is American pizza, and that's the best. So I just go there, I just get a pepperoni pizza, like, nothing special, just a pizza with pepperonis on it.
So you just like getting your arteries clogged and stuff like that.
Yeah, truly, honestly. But, you know...
Yeah, because you don't pay much for a hospital here. So that's why you like it.
But, you know, I've been here long enough, like I said, that it's like I'm almost not really trying as many new things as I used to. And I will for like if I'm going to a new place. But it's like I've been in Zagreb, in Belgrade, in Ljubljana, in Sarajevo many times. And I've been to the good places. And when I go to those places, I'm looking for something familiar. I'm in Sarajevo. I was like, is there a good Mexican restaurant around here?
I get it. I mean, it makes sense. After a while, you kind of like start to miss something.
Well, it's amazing. Like, there's some like exotic things, right? Like, I don't know if you got used to this when you were in the United States, but it's like the light switch for the bathroom is inside the bathroom.
We're in the States?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is a much better design than outside the bathroom.
Nah.
What? You disagree?
Of course.
Why would you want it on the outside of the bathroom? It's the only...
Because when I'm coming in, I light it up, man. Especially when I come home drunk and stuff like that. I'm just like, nah.
It's the only room in the entire house where the switch is on the outside of the room. Every other room, the switch is on the inside. Why would it be different for the bathroom?
Some households maybe have, like the living room, it might be in the hallway. Like when you enter in, you like light it up.
Yeah, but I still can't get used to it. I've been here a year and a half, and I go in the bathroom, I close the door, I lock it in, it's dark, and I go, I gotta open the door and come back outside and turn the light on.
So you're sleeping, and you gotta take a leak.
Yeah.
And you're all fucking sleepy, and you go. Like, don't you, like, it's easier to light it up. You just, like, it's automatic now. It's just a click. You go, but like, you go piss and you're like looking for it? No,
you turn the light on when you walk inside, you know where it is. But a light switch for a room should be inside the room. This is a hill I will die on. Another thing, you going into businesses, push doors versus pull doors. Did you find yourself running into a lot of doors in America? You go to a business, you grab the door handle and you slam into the door.
I can't remember now. Like, I don't know. I don't think
Because that
I
happens
did.
to me all the freaking time. Now, because you guys,
Like, can't
businesses,
you- but
you
let me-
push the door to open it
Can
here.
you just-
But in America, you pull it.
But can you just read what it says?
It doesn't always say.
Almost all the time. But almost all the time. But you can see, like when you see the door right there, you can see what's happening, right?
Yeah, but is it a pull door or a push door? I can see the door, but do I pull it or do I push it? There is a rule.
But can you see, like from now, do you know what's happening?
I can't. I really don't know that I could say.
I think you're the problem, my friend. Like, it's obviously you push it, right?
Yeah, but it's a universal. In the United States, if you are going from the street, from outside to inside, you pull the door. Universally. That is the rule. Here in Europe, it's the opposite. You push the door. You always push the door to come in. And so I'm going up the doors to places like, and then you have to push it. It's worse in the United States, though. I'm going to go back, like I said, for Christmas. And I'm going to be running into every freaking door I come across. I'm going to be walking into a place, I go to push it, and I slam into the door. And I have to
Well,
pull it.
probably, you know, like the owners and stuff with who you do business with. Go, oh, look, he's so funny. Look at him. He's doing it on purpose.
Yeah.
Like breaking your nose and stuff. Like not working at all.
Yeah, but it's like these sorts of small things that it's like are paying for drinks everywhere.
Oh, I have a problem with that.
Here, as opposed to
there
the
in the
United-
States.
The drinks are free refills. You go to a restaurant.
No, that's all good.
They fill it
That's
up
amazing.
and-
That's amazing for the same price.
Yeah, and they
that's
just keep filling it.
But the thing is, like you heard about the Balkan hospitality. Like,
Yeah.
Do you ever heard about the phrase "you're in the round"?
You're what?
You're in the round.
No.
No, like I'm paying for a round. Like,
Oh yeah.
and then you come late from somewhere, and you're like, the waiter asks, "What you gonna drink?" And I say, "He's in the round."
Yeah.
So you drink whatever I'm paying. So
Yeah.
it's like automatically.
No, it's not really a thing in the United States. It's
Not at
really
all.
part of our culture. You
Not
pay,
at all.
pay
And
for
I
your
re-
own damn drink.
And I remember first time we're going to McDonald's.
Yeah.
And it's like a house party and like 5 of us are going.
Yeah.
And like I'm thinking, like from Zagreb and stuff, I'm thinking like I got it. I'm paying for McDonald's.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know, 40 something bucks. And I'm like, no, it's okay, I got it. I got asked 4 times by offer, like, are you sure?
Yeah.
I'm like, no problem, it's me this time, next time it's you. It never happened then. It's just me.
Yeah.
And like,
No.
that's when I figured, like, it's not like in Balkans, we like this round's on me, this round's on him, this round's on, like in the States, it's not always like that. Like very rarely.
Very rarely. Yeah, it's true. But it's totally different here because of that. But you're like, if I ask for a Coke at a restaurant here, they give me like a teeny tiny little bottle.
Like
And it's like
$17.
Yeah, it's like 2 drinks and it's gone. As opposed to in the United States, they give me a huge glass.
Yeah.
And the refills are free.
And that's, kids, how I got diabetes. Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you ever go to a gas station and get one of the fountain drinks there? The huge freaking cup.
And the slushies and
64
stuff. Oh,
ounces.
geez.
You got a 2-liter mug full of
but that's,
soda
No, I do. Like, and honestly, I loved it.
for 89 cents.
You know what I love the most though in the States?
Yeah.
Like the chicken wings.
Ooh.
At 9 a.m., bro. That's like, that hits. But the thing is, like, when you go back to normal, when I came back to Croatia, like normal, and I like had these kind of flashbacks about the drinks and stuff, and I was like, God damn, that was wild. That was wild. That's like, why do I drink 2 liters of something in 7 a.m. of like 3,000 calories probably just in me, and I'm like, well, that's not good.
They had a joke on this on the TV show Parks and Rec.
Yeah.
Where they were talking about a gas station is introducing a new size, a child size there. and they lift it up, and it's like huge, and they're like, "That's child size," and it's like, "Well, yeah, it's the size of a small child."
Fact. And what I always love, you come to like a, it's almost like a gas, not really a gas. 7-Eleven is not a gas station, right? But it's like a.
It's a convenience store.
Yeah, convenience store and stuff like that.
It's the closest we have to a corner shop.
Yeah, and it's like you have everything there, like everything.
Yeah, that's like an interesting thing. Like I like to drink milk. I am a milk drinking guy. You can't get milk at a gas station here. You can get a freaking gallon of milk at a gas station in the United States.
That milk was pretty good though.
Yeah. Did you like the milk in the States?
Yeah, it was sweet though.
Yeah.
That's why I liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I also like it was the part time when I already had the diabetes, but I didn't know. So I was like drinking like 2 liters of milk and thinking about.
But I'm telling you, I'd get a freaking a huge carton of chocolate milk and after work and drink it all on the way home. You know.
But my favorite drink
doesn't fit in the cup holder.
My favorite drink in the United States was pink lemonade.
I hadn't thought about it. You guys don't have it.
We do now.
You do now?
Yeah. You can actually find. I think it's the company's Cappy. I think. I think they have like, and it's like 0 calories and stuff. It's pretty. No, it's good. It's good.
I like my pink lemonade with calories.
Yeah, with a whole lot of them. Yeah, but that was amazing, man. I drank that like 7 bottles a day.
Yeah.
So that's why.
Oh man, but.
Why?
Yeah, you're making me.
I know what I want to say, but I
don't know how to say it. Yeah.
don't know how to say it.
Reći na hrvatskom.
Pa zato jesi završio tamo gdje si završio.
That's why I ended up where I ended up.
Yeah.
In a hospital on my deathbed with a priest by my side. I'm not even joking.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was serious. And like all these Indian doctors coming to me saying something, I don't understand nothing. The English was like, you gotta forgive me, I'm dying, kind of. I don't get anything, but yeah, it was a weird experience, but like I'm kind of thankful for it. But it was the whole United States thing was great, and also like, you know.
I was talking to a woman yesterday who spent some time in Los Angeles, and I asked her what she thought of the United States. She was like, I didn't like it. And I was like, really? What about it? And she goes, it was just too much. And I'm like, say no more.
No,
like,
no, for real.
Like
yeah.
I get it.
Like my biggest like problem with it, like especially like Los Angeles, I was there also. It's just way too big, man. It's so big. Yeah. Like I remember, like I was in Vegas for maybe like 3 days.
Yeah.
And my buddies and everyone is working where I'm staying, and I'm like, you know, like just have nothing to do. And I decided to go for a walk. And I'm like, I asked a couple of buddies, like, hey, where can I buy some Jordans, you know, just to check film. And they're like, yeah, down the street. Yeah. And I'm walking for like 15 minutes. I stopped some guy, like, hey, excuse me, man, do you maybe know where I can buy some Jordans, some store with the Jordans mall, some? Yeah, just buy down the street, end of the street. I walked for 2.5 hours, bro. There's no end of the street. And I just stopped at one point, just turned around and went back home. Like, I don't even... And the friend picked me up, and I'm like, bro, like, where can I get some Jordans? And he's like, we just order it online, man. That's
but you know what's an interesting thing about... I was driving my Mustang in Belgrade, which might I add, if you live in Belgrade, Zagreb, or anything like that, do not buy a Mustang or like any American car. It freaking sucks. I can't see out of it. It's too wide. I can't park it anywhere. Just today to get to you, right? I'm driving around the block. A parking space is open, and I'm like, I could probably park in there with any other car but this one. It's just a stupid, impractical car in every possible way, but it looks really cool.
It looks cool.
It's a cool looking car.
Yeah, it is.
And
you're like the one of 3 guys in the Balkans that have it, probably.
Yeah, it's super impractical, though.
Yeah.
I'm driving my Mustang around Belgrade, and I'm like, there's so many people walking around. There's so many pedestrians.
Yeah.
That I'm like, that's something I'm not used to.
Yeah.
Very
not
much
even
when
like
it comes
in
to
Dakota.
driving. Huh?
Not even in like Dakota where you're from?
No, we don't really have pedestrians. You just drive places.
Because everything is so fucking far.
Why would you walk anywhere? Like the idea of walking somewhere is like,
yeah,
like that's
you are American.
Well, it's far. You're right. Everything is far.
It is.
I mean, I grew up in a suburb outside of the city, and there's nothing. There's nothing out there. There's houses.
Yeah.
That's it.
Like no stores, nothing.
No, not growing up. There's a few now that kind of popped up, but they're still not walking distance.
Yeah.
And so the idea, you can't walk anywhere to any business at all, period. There's not a single business within walking distance.
Yeah, that is the thing though. That is.
And even the idea, the concept of convenience is very big here. There's like a cafe on every street corner because you just go to the cafe that's closest to you, right? But if a cafe opened next door to my house, I would probably still drive to some other cafe because it's on my way to work or something like that, because you don't really walk places, you know?
Not even if it's like 5 meters or something.
No, not really.
It's too close. Something's
not
wrong
in the
with
Midwest. I'm from a very specific place, right? So like what I'm saying now is not the case for New York City.
Yeah.
Have you been to New York?
No, but that is my
It's
dream.
the most like Europe of any American city I've ever visited. Things are very kind of smushed together.
Yeah.
And that sort of idea of convenience, corner shops, on every corner. It's very, very much like that.
That is like literally my biggest like dream, is to go to New York.
Yeah. Well, why not? You got a visa, right?
Yeah. I mean,
you should go.
Obviously, you don't need it anymore, but
you got to do a podcast live from New York.
Yeah.
In Central Park, set up a.
Not really. I want to go like Southside Jamaica, Queens, and stuff like that. That's what interests me, like for real.
Yeah.
Yeah, like when I came to like the guy that I was with, like in that I stayed with in Las Vegas, he's like good financially and stuff like that, and he had a house in Malibu.
Oh, nice.
And like we're going to Malibu and stuff. When I went to LA, and my first was like, I want to go to Compton. I want to go South Central.
Yeah.
And we are driving in a white Porsche like truck, and his wife is blonde, and they're like, they're gonna rob us. They're gonna kidnap her.
Yeah.
They're gonna kill you. Yeah. They were gonna no, we're going to Malibu, and all of their friends are like, yeah, we want to go to Malibu, Hollywood, and only the Balkan is like, I want to go to Compton.
Yeah, no, good luck. Yeah, and that was the last they ever heard from him.
I would manage. I can handle myself.
Yeah,
I think it will be dope.
Well, they got a lot of guns over there. That's one of the things, right? Is guns, and that's a totally different subject, right? We've got like 3 times more guns than people in South Dakota, and we don't have a gun violence problem. We're actually really good with guns in South Dakota, and we've got a lot of them, and the laws are super relaxed. We haven't had a school shooting in South Dakota. We haven't had any mass killings at all.
That's good.
I can't think of there ever being a scenario.
But like actually
where 2 people were killed in a shooting. Maybe
but like
one.
we just said, like everything, like even Compton, like the neighborhoods are like so big that like my uncle lives actually in LA, and he says that his son, I think, or something, went to school in like a private school in Compton. Like there's probably some good parts of Compton because it's big. So we always think about gangster rap and stuff like that. I mean, that's where I want to go to be.
South Central Los Angeles is the apparently the rough zone. I've never been to Los Angeles. I've been to California.
Have you been to New York?
I was in New York for the first time last year.
Oh.
And that, I mean, as compared to South Dakota, it's like a different planet, But
almost like Belgrade.
Yeah,
kind of like the center.
But a lot of the sort of challenges I've faced haven't just been from moving from America to the Balkans, but like moving from a small town to the big city.
Yeah.
I think a lot of sort of the frustrations and challenges and things that I face here would be just as bad, if not amplified, if I moved to a place like New York City.
No, I think worse. Yeah. What is the population in Dakota? Where are you from?
It's 880,000 people, but the state...
So almost like Zagreb, huh?
Yeah, but the state of South Dakota is the size of Romania. Mm-hmm. It's like 3.5 Croatias stacked together, size-wise, the whole country.
Yeah, so it's like...
So, ex-Yugoslavia, all of those former republics, Yugoslavia, South Dakota is like 80% of the size. So if you put Slovenia, Bosnia, Croatia, Serbia, and smash them together,
That's South Dakota. Damn.
Yeah.
I didn't know that one.
It's huge. So it's mostly just wide open space. So 880,000 people in that big of a place. I mean, where the people live. The largest city is 200,000 people. The second largest city, where I come from, is 80,000 people. And the rest are just scattered to the wind.
What's the name of your city?
I'm from a place called Rapid City.
Rapid City, yeah.
Do you know Mount Rushmore?
Yeah.
That's where it is.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I didn't know. Yeah.
Yeah, so I actually lived on... My first apartment was on Mount Rushmore Road, like probably a 30-minute drive from the monument.
Nice.
There.
Did you go there? You did, well, right?
I've been there many times.
Yeah, did you like?
Yeah.
Yeah, you go, guys.
Let me tell you a story about Mount Rushmore. If we've got time, we've been talking a while, but this might be good to cut out. Good for a clip. Mount Rushmore.
So this is for a clip, Olga.
Yeah, we'll see.
I subscribe this.
Yeah. Let me tell you about Mount Rushmore. So it used to be a natural monument for the Native American people called the Six Grandfathers, right? So it's a mountain with 6 peaks. And each of the peaks on the mountain represented a patriarch for the local Lakota people. Those are the Native Americans who lived there before colonizers came. And each of these peaks represented one of their patriarchs, and it's a natural monument, right? So this mountain, they look at it, and it sort of represents that their ancestors are always watching them, always looking over them, and that though they may have died, they still exist in nature, right? And obviously, some Lakota Indian told some white guy that, and he was like, that's a great idea. Push him off the cliff. We're carving a president's faces into this mountain. I love that idea. They get a bunch of dynamite, and they start blowing holes in the mountain.
That's the most American thing I've heard.
Yeah, and they're like, boom, George Washington here, Abraham Lincoln there. And so it's kind of a difficult past to reconcile with. It's a beautiful monument. It's the largest natural monument in the world because it's carved straight out of the face of a rock, and it is majestic. It's amazing.
Do you know like who did it?
Yeah. It was a Danish guy named Gutzon Borglum was his name.
All right.
And he was like, I build president rocks. And and him and a bunch of workers came with a bunch of dynamite, and they carved it using dynamite. And I couldn't tell you exactly how big it is, but it's huge.
But it's like, is that like a tourist spot? Like
Yeah, it's a big tourist spot. Well, and Gutzon Borglum, he had big plans for it. He wanted the Declaration of Independence to be housed there and to have this big museum and all of that. But then he died, and the project ended. Like he was pretty much the guy, and when he died, that was it. But it's really great. I mean, you go there, it's really wonderful if you forget about the history. And so, of course, we still have very many Lakota people. That's how the state got its name, Dakota, Lakota.
Yeah.
That was their land, and essentially, it gets even worse. We signed a treaty with them, which might I add still exists, the original treaty, which said that area with the mountains belonged to the Lakota people, and that the United States government was not going to interfere on their sovereign land. And then gold was found there, and we're like so much for that! Yeah. We're taking this back. And we took the region by force and forced all of the natives off of the land out into the surrounding prairies, onto basically, the dirt and the plains where there's nothing going on, and we're like, we don't want this place. You can have it for those areas. And there's still those Native American reservations. They have their own laws. They have their own police. They have their own elections and cycles and everything. They're actually technically outside of the United States. So if you look at a true map of the United States, like truly, honestly, what's controlled by, let's say, Donald Trump, he's the president of, it's full of holes. It looks like Swiss cheese because of all of the Native American reservations run by different tribes. And it's like I said, it's quite difficult to reconcile with. So you go to Mount Rushmore and you go, this is beautiful. This is amazing. Probably looked pretty good before we come. I mean, that's like the biggest FU ever, right? Like permanently destroying the monument of it. Like the six grandfathers will never be there ever. When all humans are extinct, it will still be there. Yeah. Carved into the mountain. Yeah. And so there is still quite a lot of friction about that. So you've got, every time you talk about Mount Rushmore, you're like, it's our greatest monument or whatever. You've got local Native Americans who are like, you guys are bastards. You freaking suck. And from my perspective, it's kind of like, yeah. Like, fair enough. Yeah. I don't know what to tell you. I was born 60 years after the monument was completed. It's not my fault.
Yeah, yeah, of course.
But crazy. Right, it's very American.
Yeah, it is. Like the most American thing. But like hearing you talking about it like right now and like talk for the last 2 and some hours about the Balkans and stuff like that, like where do you see yourself in like 20 years? Do you see yourself
20
here?
years?
Or like, would you like to go back like to the States, to the Dakota or whatever?
Man,
like,
you're asking great questions.
Thank you.
From my time, I think I'll always see myself having a connection to the Balkans.
For real?
I would like to own a home here somewhere. Not an apartment, but like a home. I'm a house kind of guy. I grew up in a house. Apartments aren't really my style. I like to make noise when I work on my cars. And many times I've angered my current apartment neighbors. So I'll probably get a house somewhere, maybe someplace inexpensive, closer to the country somewhere.
Nice.
And I think I'll probably always have that, whether I'm a public figure or something like that. Though I do think, 20 years, something like that, I probably will spend most of my time in the United States. And one of the reasons for that is because I would like to raise my children in the United States. And I think it's just because it's what I understand. And when it comes to, I understand American problems better than I do local ones. And so I know how to deal with bullies at school in America, or bullies in general, or peer pressure or difficulties like that, as opposed to in the Balkans. I just don't understand those things, and I don't think I ever will.
Yeah, for now maybe.
But I grew up in the United States, and so I can relate to being a child in a place like that, as opposed to, I can't hear. People say they, and maybe it's a joke, but they start smoking and drinking at, 8 years old or whatever.
Yeah, here?
Yeah. Yeah. And so it's one of those things.
Happens.
Yeah, and it's like this sort of relationship between vices in general, whether it be gambling, smoking, drinking, and peer pressure, especially when it comes to, if you don't want to do something, your friends or your peers are going to force you to do it, and I just don't like that as part of the culture. I don't think it's a good thing.
Yeah, that is
especially
common here,
especially for kids, Yeah. And so, and that's just me, right? I didn't grow up around it. I don't understand it, and so as an adult, I mean, maybe I could see myself going back to the United States, having a few kids, coming here in the summers and spending, every summer somewhere in Croatia, somewhere in Serbia, or just traveling around. And maybe when the kids are gone, I'll retire in Slovenia, somewhere on a mountaintop.
Not bad.
But it's locked in, right? I mean, this region, this culture, these people will always be a part of me. One of the things that you always get asked, especially when you're younger, you have a birthday, right? You turn 21, you turn 22, and somebody asks you, well, do you feel 22? And it's like, no. I feel the same as I did yesterday. I feel older since I moved here. I feel a lot older. And I think it just comes with those kind of experiences that I've had here and the places I've been.
Can you see defeat in my eyes?
Yeah.
It's just like I've been defeated so many times.
Yeah. It's like moving here, I feel like I've really grown up quite a lot.
Yeah.
And even when I was in the army, I was always the lowest rank in every circle. I was kind of the grunt doing whatever. The young guy, the young kid, whatever, as opposed to here, it's just not that way. I usually am the one who's in charge, who's calling shots, who's deciding where to go, what to do. And there's a lot of these big sort of executive decisions. And sometimes there's a lot of money on the line, and sometimes there's a lot of opportunity and things like that on the line, reputation, and big decisions, big decisions all the time. And I thought that I was an adult before, but now, whoa, I feel so much older. And I've grown more in the last year and a half than I probably did the entire rest of my adult life, including my time in the military and all of that. And so this is something that just can't be taken away from me, no matter where I go or no matter what I do. My experience in a place like Croatia, a place like Serbia, Bosnia, Slovenia, Montenegro, that's with me now, and it will be forever. And these are the kind of stories that maybe if I do end up back in America long term, everybody's going to be so sick and tired of. It's like he's always talking about that time. When he was in Montenegro, that one time, or he was in Croatia. Shut up about your license plates already. We get it. But it's like, those are the kind of things where, life will never be the same. It'll never be the same. And it just gets crazier. And it just gets crazier. And who knows, maybe that sort of feeling, like I said, of feeling older, could lead to some kind of burnout in the future, and maybe I'm just going to get tired and I'm going to say I'm done with this. But I don't think it'll ever be forever.
I almost guarantee it. It will happen. Yeah, it happened to me a couple of times, like for real. But never mind. I don't know how to say this in English, but I think the word is the column. Like we have a special column.
Oh, a column.
Column.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's right. COLUMN.
Column.
All right.
Column.
I think that's it's called Doctor Asks.
Doctor Asks.
Yes.
Oh, the doctor.
The doctor.
Doctor is here.
What will
Doctor
you prescribe me?
Yeah. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the best part of this podcast for me. How are you? Everything is fine?
Dobro.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, boy.
I have some questions, but we know answers. That's your favorite food is cevapi. Your favorite drink is
Kokta.
Kokta. Oh.
For real?
I like Kokta. I drink it a lot.
Yes, Kokta is Slovenian drink. Yeah.
Yes.
I think it's rakia, but okay, that's...
No, rakia. I can't. People would love to hear me say rakia, but here's the thing. Even if it was rakia, I need to hold on to this being naive about rakia as long as I can, because there's a lot of views.
Yeah,
you know, like, oh wow, I've never tried anything like this before, and it's like 3 million people watch it, and they're like, ha, funny American, he doesn't know about the rakia.
Okay, I don't have a question, but I have one wish. Can you please, for my heart, for my soul, for my body, sing something on our language, but not Miki Milane?
Yeah, that's a great question. What do we got from Croatia? What do we got? Oh. What is that song? Silega života ja sam tio samo nju, da do njenog srce nađem put. Silega života moja tija je bez nje, kad cviće bez vode. That's it. That's right off the dome.
That's pretty good, man. Actually.
Yeah.
Right in the middle of my heart.
Yeah, that's where the heart is. I was thinking about it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you,
I was
brother.
eyeing it.
But you know what's funny? I was telling somebody, you know why I always sing Miki Milane is because, first of all, that's the song that like really blew up, made me famous in the first place. But also, I didn't know how to read the Balkan language. So when I looked up the lyrics, what I was hearing and what I was reading didn't line up.
Yeah.
And so it was like I was reading like ancient Egyptian hieroglyphics or Chinese or something, because I didn't understand this sort of one letter, one sound thing. So I was reading it with like an American accent. It wasn't working. So what I did was I just listened to that chorus, that refrain again and again and again, and I wrote down what I heard in sort of my English American way.
Yeah.
And I memorized it.
Yeah.
And so now, if I were to sing a new song, I would just read it off a teleprompter exactly how it's written, because I can read Croatian and Serbian, Bosnian language very easily. I understand the alphabet, and my pronunciation is quite good, or so I'm told. But back then, it was totally different. So that song is like seared into my brain forever, because it took like 3 hours just to get the freaking refrain memorized. Anyway, what do you got, Doctor?
Okay, that's it. Thank you.
Whoa, okay, whoa,
Thank
this is
you.
the shortest column ever.
Yes.
I think you would call it a segment.
Segment. Yes.
Segment.
Yeah.
Okay.
This time it is.
That was a segment, and my brother, MI was good.
MI was good.
MI was. You is good.
You was.
Yeah. You is good. You is very good.
Yeah.
Yes. Next time in Kazakhstan. Yeah, you are very good.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. I will take over. Thank you. Speaking about the music, where do you stand now with it? Because you are actually a musician, right? You were doing a song.
Yeah, I'm a musician, and I get asked that a lot, and maybe I'll go back to it. Who knows? But you know, that was actually my original plan, was to become a musician and sort of move from influencer to singer, musician guy, right? And not to have to worry about social media and make money off of making songs, because I'm passionate about that. I'm good at it. And I've played a few concerts here, some in Croatia, some in Slovenia. I actually did one, I don't know if you saw the video, I was singing with Petar Grašo backstage for this in Munich.
Oh, nice.
So I went to Munich and they had me perform a song on stage with the big band and everything. And then after me, it was all these big, famous Croatian artists. And I do not like performing live like that.
No.
It makes me absolutely, totally nervous. I'll do it, but I don't get any enjoyment from it. Not at this point. I just don't have enough experience with it. And so when talking to big artists, small artists, everybody says the only way to make money in music here is if you do shows. You have to do shows and you have to go on tour. And I was like,
well, now kind of got a little bit better. You can get some money off streams and stuff.
You
like
can,
that.
but and
you got to get to a certain level.
I know how much money you can make off streams, but it's very, very little. And even you could have a big hit, like millions of plays will get you like, you know, whatever, 10 grand or something. But you can't get millions of plays every month, every week.
No, of course.
You know, the average person, I mean, you would, in Croatia, I mean, like, let's say I get 3 million plays. I mean, that's gonna net me like 4 grand.
Nah, I think like 10.
You really think so?
I think like Spotify, I think like million plays like $4,000.
I just don't know that.
Okay, so
just
now-
from streams, if you are the big, it's kind of like I was saying about influencers who make a living as influencers.
Yeah.
Like there's probably like 30 of them in Croatia who just make a living doing that, and that's it. And even less who don't tour. And so everyone says the money comes from the tour, and I was just like, man, I don't want to tour. I tour already, but the pressure of having to get the words right and know the chords and have everything down, it's just a lot. Though, when it comes to music, I still do plan on releasing new original music, some music videos and stuff like that, but mostly sort of in sort of pursuit of boosting this social media side of things, rather than the focus being, okay, I'm doing social media so I can do music. It's more like I'm doing music so I can make my social media better. And I have some plans for some songs. I've got a few written. I'm talking to some producers and working through it, but I don't want to reveal anything yet because, well, who knows what'll happen.
Fair enough.
Who knows?
Fair enough. My friend, we have came. We have come. We have. We've come.
You're on your 5th beer.
Oh man, why? Šta mi brojiš? Why are you counting? That's good. Šta mi brojiš? No, we've come to the end of the show, and pretty much our last and only scripted question that we have.
Oh man. All right.
It's not that bad. Actually, there are 2 things. Pretty much you answered almost answered it all. And second thing, I think this will be the only time that I won't have to explain it to him.
Okay.
The only guy that I don't have to explain
Let's
it.
try.
All right.
Let's try. What is Justus's endgame?
Oh, the end game.
Thank you, my guy.
I know what
Thank
the
you,
end.
my guy.
Do you say end game in Croatian as well?
Well, I do,
Game.
because I don't think there's a Croatian word for it.
Croatian sort of, okay, listen.
Finale, kraj.
I someday, and to be honest, the sooner the better, but I would like to step away from public life and being social media influencer. And I give a lot of value to my clients and to my viewers by making the videos that I do, right? And we've talked a lot about business, but realistically, the vast majority of videos I make are just for fun.
Yeah.
Just to make people laugh, or to make them smile, or to make them think. So there's value given to the viewer, and there's value given to the client if it's an ad. But I always get something in return, whether it be the client's money or the viewer's attention. And I want to reach the point where I have enough money, enough stability, and maybe enough maturity that I can give things away, whether that be money or time or effort, and expect nothing in return. Because right now I just feel like I can't afford it, you know?
Yeah.
I can't work for free.
Of course.
But if a day comes, if I could be, I'm 24 now, if I could be 30 and I just get to give away my time to people who need it, and I just get to give away my money to people who need it, I get to give away my effort to people who need it, that's where I want to be. Really, truly, honestly. In whatever the way that be, whether it be somebody is physically hungry or spiritually hungry, I want to be able to feed those people, and to make them, give them an opportunity that nobody else would. And that's the end game. And whether that happens at age 30, 40, 50, 60, who knows? But right now, I'm on the grind. I'm grinding like crazy, you know, and I want to reach the point where I have enough that I can kind of give it all away, you know?
Nice.
That would be really great. And not die, you know?
Yeah, when you reach that point, remember us.
Yeah.
That will be fair. Bro, thank you so much for
Thanks
your
for
time.
fisting me. I appreciate it.
Of course, that's what we do. Even more when the camera shuts off. But like, thank you so much for coming. Thank you for coming all the way from the trip and being late. I will never forget that.
Yes, I know. I know.
Thank you. Yeah, you made an impression. That's what counts.
Yeah, you're fashionably late.
Yeah. Nah, never mind. But you called. That's good. That's what counts. Excuse me for a second. Dragi naši, ovo je bio još jedan, znači sad mi je čudno pričati na hrvatskom.
Totalno, brate, ja te ne razumijem.
He's forgotten how.
Yeah. Dragi naši, evo ovo je bio još jedan jako poseban podcast, kao što ste i sami posvjedočili, kao i uvijek sa vama u kući kani Doktor Oga.
Brate, umorio sam se, ali ovo je stvarno jedno iskustvo.
Apsolutno.
I didn't know you could speak Croatian. Your English is so good.
Yeah,
Because, thank you.
Because
He's a man of many talents.
What did he say? I was, how I was. Am I was, you is. Am I was. Bio je to još jedan Ril Tok podcast. Kan Doktor Oga, JUSTUS REID. Hvala vam puno, vidimo se uskoro. I ovaj put ću na engleskom, kako kažemo, we kiss you in your eye. Vidimo se.